All right, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to the 2025 TCUK Championship here at Virtual Motorsport Online. My name is Matthew Churgwin. Joining me this evening is Mr. Philip Morby.
Good evening. Yeah, we're back. Hopefully for another fantastic season of touring cars. What's not to, yeah, what's not to hate? What's not to like even?
Indeed, we're here
What-
to we're here to enjoy some close, intense, fair but frantic touring car action here. Tonight we are at the wonderful Donington Park at the National Circuit to kick off our 10-round championship season. 3 races here this evening of 16 laps around the fantastic national layout. I must admit, Phil, I've always preferred the national layout over the GP loop. Fantastic overtaking opportunities, and we've got a fantastic field here to take on this fantastic racing circuit.
I agree with you, mate. I think the national circuit, you get those the heavy braking zone of the S's, Redgate and kind of all the way down. I just think I don't mind the GP circuit, but it doesn't add much. I think having a shorter circuit makes it a bit more frantic and a bit more exciting.
Absolutely right, but have no fear, folks. At round 8, we will be coming back to Donington Park to take on that GP circuit for those of you who do enjoy that. And as you can see here, we've got a wonderful calendar, 10 rounds, taking in all of the very best British circuits. We'll be going to Brands Hatch in 3 weeks' time to take on the Indy circuit, Thruxton in mid-July, Oulton Park and Croft following our summer break. And then we have the fantastic swing of Snetterton, Knockhill, returning to Donington in October, and then rounding out the season with a fantastic rounds here at Silverstone and Brands Hatch. And who knows who will be championship in with the championship shout after the 30 races we've got ahead of us. We've got, as I mentioned, a fantastic stacked field. We've got we have the champions from the last 5 years joining us on the grid, and we've got a fantastic mix of cars as well on offer.
Yeah, we've got a nice little spread there. Cupras, we've got a Cupra team. We've got Hyundai's, Hondas, Vauxhalls, a few Fords, my personal favourite, and obviously the BMWs as well with their rear-wheel drive, along with the single Infiniti, I believe. So we've got a few wheel-wheel drives, but majority front-wheel. Some few independents there, and some names we all recognise, and some new faces, all kind of going for various Challenger Cups and wins, and hopefully someone's going for the championship.
Absolutely right, and we'll talk you all through it as we go through the races this evening. We've got a few interesting twists and additions to the championship this year. Most impactful of which being the Hems Boo system. This is a collaboration with the Gothenburg Internet Racing League, and it's bringing a little bit of the real world British Touring Car Championship to the virtual world.
Yeah, it's a fantastic addition for this league. So it means that the league can kind of effectively copy what the British Touring Car Championship does in regards to when they can activate the power, so what speed they can activate the boost, and how many laps they get to use the boost. And obviously that's based on qualifying position, and finishing of races 1 and 2 affects how much they'll have for races 2 and 3. So this is the one race of the season where everyone starts with the same amount of boost and number of laps they can use it for.
Absolutely, and it's a beautiful tactical tool. Do you use it early to try and get ahead? Do you use it to attack? Do you use it to defend? We'll have to see how our 32 drivers tackle that challenge as we make our way through each round in this championship.
I actually did so obviously we've done a pre-season race effectively, and that was to test the system out because it's actually an external system used with R Factor 2. And it was very exciting because when you've got, I think it's 60 odd horsepower extra on tap, you fly by those cars that aren't using it, and it really is tactical, like we're seeing actually in touring cars at the moment as to when and how to use it. My tactic personally was to try and save as much as you can for those last 3-4 laps, and kind of deploy it there as to kind of try and push yourself onwards, or hopefully hold someone back.
So we'll have to see how our field of drivers take that challenge on. And I think you touched on it while you were describing the field, Phil. A really nice mix here of all sorts of manufacturers and marques, but also front wheel drive and rear wheel drive. So we will definitely see as the season goes on, as we visit the various circuits that we'll visit I think a little bit of a swing from round to round, as obviously some circuits will definitely suit some drivetrains, and others will obviously suit others. So it's going to be a fascinating championship to take on, and well, we have the extreme pleasure of talking you all through it this year. So, Phil, you've raced in this championship, so have I. It's fast, it's frantic, and the quality of drivers we've got it's tip top.
It really is. I mean, we've so many different esports teams. Brabham Esports is here. We've got names you'll recognise from other leagues and previous seasons here. So many kind of really good representation across the spectrum of cars. So I'm excited to see if those BMWs and that Infinity really are as quick off the line as they are in real life at the moment. Obviously, they can't use that boost for the first lap. Then they're on its kind of fair game. So yeah, excited to see how it all pans out for the season. Are you a fan of this? What was your car used to race in actually?
Well, so I was previously in a BMW a few years ago, and going even further back than that, a Levorg. I've always been a rear-wheel drive enjoyer myself, but it's fantastic to have to have the variety that we've got here, though. So we've. As we've been talking through, qualifying has concluded, and we've got your very first starting grid of the year. So, Phil, do you want to run us through the top 10?
Yeah, it's reigning champion of the last 2 years. Dan Herlock takes pole, 107.1. Thomas O'Leary, just under 2 tenths behind in that kind of fast starting, I'm sure, BMW. Callum Cripps for the Brabham Motorsport there in third. And Scott Mitchell-Marm, fourth. Chris Butcher rounding out the top 5.
And then we've got Matt Richards, long-time driver in this series. He'll be starting 6th alongside Dan Kell, another stalwart of TCUK. Joining them will be Callum Wilson and Fraser Hart, followed by Sido Ware, rounding out our top 10.
Fantastic. Yeah, we had 2 Brabham Motorsports there in the top 10. Martha Allington, she's at YTF Racing in 11th. Jordan Richardson, Vapor Shield Racing in 12th. Mitch Marie, Calamity Motorsport 13th, and Cameron Brewster, my lucky number 14. 14 was always my number, so I'm always interested in see how 14th goes during the race. Jordan Osborne there, Unlimited Motorsports Esports, of course, taking number 666, makes it the longest one, and 15th.
We have Tom Mould starting 16th with Alan Axon in 17th. They'll be followed by Alan Smith and Emil Selberg in 18th and 19th, with Jack Nichols rounding out the top 20. And can I just point out, everyone here so far, all within a second of each other, incredibly close.
Nicked what I was about to say. I was just about to point out the same thing. Yeah, it's 60, what we're saying, 67-second lap, and to have, like I said, 20 cars within 1 second is fantastic. Oh, look at that. Ben Willis exactly there, 1 second. This conveniently. So top 21 within a second. So yeah, Ben Willis 21st. We've got Nathan Kruk. I am going to pronounce these correctly. Apologies, I'm probably getting these wrong. In 22nd. Joseph Herlock. Yep, we got the brother on board. RSR in 23rd. And then James Haskell rounding it out. 24 cars this evening, by the looks of it.
Not quite the Herlock sandwich, if you will, but there we go. That's a really interesting grid. We've got a lot of very fast and excellent racecraft equipped drivers in the midfield there. I think we're going to be in with a fantastic first race.
Yeah, weather's looking good as well for today at Donington. So I don't expect any rain, but it is British summertime, so you do never know.
It's bound to occur.
As we always used to say. Yep, so a quick look now. Yeah, it looks like we should be good for no rain tonight. Famous last words.
Well, that's well and truly cursed it. So as we are just kind of waiting for our field to grid up and get ready for the first race, if you want to find out more about virtual motorsport online, feel free to head on over to our social media channels on Instagram. We obviously have our Discord server, and you too could find yourselves on a future broadcasting grid, and we'll obviously be looking at the live stream chats as well, and looking forward to calling the action as well as engaging with you all this evening.
Yeah, we've got one post so far. Dan the Man from Ryan there. So thank you, welcome, and yeah, we'll see how he does during the race. Who are you watching with eager eyes this evening? Anyone particular catch your eye?
Well, I must admit, he's started with authority. Dan Herlock, straight away, pole position. He's got himself on the option tyre. We'll talk through tyres as the evening goes on. I think he's definitely in with a good shout of a good race result in race 1 here, and of course starting your championship campaign as you mean to go on.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, like I said, obviously the option, the tyres. Just to give a quick rundown on how the tyres work here. During the course of the season, at 9 of those 10 rounds, you must select 3 races you'll run the option in race 1, 3 races you'll run the option in race 2, 3 races you'll run the option in race 3. So you have to be, again, even a bit more tactical about that as to which races do you want to take the option tyre, which predominantly is usually the softer tyre. There are a few places where actually the option's the harder. I think Knockhill springs to mind. Obviously, that option tyre is going to give you more grip at the start, but you have to obviously look after it come the end of the race because it can drop off. And yeah, we've got 7 drivers using the options. I was wondering if we we're going to get that on screen shortly, but yeah, we're going to get. I'll run through the names that are running on the options. Yes, Dan Herlock, as you've mentioned, Mitch Marie, Fraser Hart, Thomas O'Leary, Archie Dardine, Dan Kell, and Callum Cripps are your option tyres for race 1.
Yes, we'll have to see if they make use of those softer tyres to help get them up the field nice and early. And it's another fantastic strategic element, which will play out slowly but surely across the whole of the championship. You may use your tyres early and strategically in the first few rounds, but that might come to haunt you a little bit later on. So just yet another story bead in this rich tapestry that we're going to be seeing playing out in front of our eyes.
What do you prefer, to kind of start on options, or kind of finish on options?
You know what? I always found it kind of a circuit by circuit, and how I was almost approaching the that particular round. If I had a inkling that I might have some good pace, I definitely would look to use those option tyres earlier to try and get a bit of a headway and a bit of a gap, because touring car racing, it's tough. As you well know, if you have a bad first race, it is all about damage control. So getting that gap early, and it really does help set up the rest of the evening's racing.
Yeah, definitely. I've had some races where you kind of get to that race 3 and you kind of somehow you've got that top 5 and you think, oh, I really wish I started now on softs. But then obviously at the same time, it was that race 1 softs that kind of propelled you up the ladder to get you that reverse grid for race 2 into race 3. So yeah, benefits. There's, upsides and downsides, I suppose.
Absolutely, and you mentioned weather earlier. Of course, if we get some rain, that completely upsets the form book, and you might find your advantage literally gets washed away. So we'll have to keep an eye on the proceedings and tyres, and we will run through in the second race and third race, of course, the remaining option runners, so we can all keep an eye on how they all do.
Yep, I'm led to believe they are kind of very shortly gridding up, and we'll actually see some real live footage of some real virtual cars, I suppose, live on track, which I'm excited to see, because it means, dawn of a new season, and we'll see how that all plays out. And yeah, I really want to see how this BMW starts next to a front-wheel drive, and obviously, yeah, this race, it's very even. They've all got the same amount of boost, same amount of laps, and here we are, cars on track, formation lap time.
Indeed, as they take a look and get some reconnaissance, we will just keep an eye on everyone, making sure they're all getting around nice and safely, and we'll run through the order here. So we have Dan Herlock, of course, starting in pole position. He'll be followed by Thomas O'Leary. Callum Cripps will follow in 3rd place, with Scott Mitchell-Marm in 4th, with Chris Butcher rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, we've got the top 3. They're all starting on softs. That's very convenient there. Matt Richards there in 6th. Dan Kell in 7th. He'll be hoping to jump those 3 mediums early on. Wilson 8th, Hart in 9th, and then Ryder in 10th.
Yeah, we then have Martha Allington starting in 11th, with Richardson following on closely behind. And this is where the timing tower is going to catch me out, and I can't remember the rest of the field, but still.
I can take it on here then. So, Mitch Murray in 13th, Cameron Brewster in 14th, Jordan Osborne, Unlimited Motorsports Esports, I'm going to have great fun saying that all season, in 15th. Tom Mould, 16th. Then we've got Alan Axon, Alan Smith, Battle of the Allens in 17th and 18th. Emil Salberg and Jack Nichols, 19th and 20th. So Kings starting in row 10 together. Ben Willis, 21st. And we have got some extra people, actually. Nathan Croak, 22nd. Joseph Herlock, 23rd. James Huskell, 24th. Louis Neal in 25th. And Archie Jardine, 26th, row 13. Yeah, kind of ready to go for a new season.
Lovely stuff. Say hello to Pete Newman. Tom Mould is the GOAT according to him, so I think we know who he'll be rooting for. You asked me who I was looking out for, Phil. Who are you keeping an eye on this race?
Yep, 14th, Cameron Brewster, as ever. And I think I'll be interested to see where Matt Richards, kind of in those mediums, 6th place. We'll see how he goes.
All right, so we are gridded up. We're ready to go racing. Round 1 of VMO TCUK 2025. We'll wait for those lights. And we are go. Looks like a good even start on the front row. Interesting. It looks like Callum Cripps in 3rd has got a better run than the BMW as they are making their way down to Redgate for the first time, sweeping out wide. Herlock maintains his advantage, running through the exit. We have got the Ford Focus there having a look up the inside of the BMW as they run down towards the Craner curves for the first time.
It looks like we've all survived. Oh, Emil Salberg at the back's had a problem. Is way by the back. That BMW didn't quite go as fast as I hoped to at the start there, but has managed to recover back up to 3rd.
Sounds like Selberg unfortunately started in the pit lane. We've got yellow flags in Sector 2 as they make their way out of the old hairpin up towards McLean's for the first time. Looks like everyone's settling down. Oh, and I think I saw a car off in the gravel there. Unfortunate. I think that was the number 48. I think that was Crook in the gravel trap there.
Yeah, he went wide going into Old Hairpin and just got onto the gravel, just couldn't slow it down, and that was kind of sadly the end of his race already, as there's field spread a little bit already at that end of lap 1, but definitely not in the middle there. Martha having a fight there with Richardson, going to chicane, they're going to hold it. Oh, that's a shortcut there. They have to keep an eye on that as well, because they will get penalty points if they do that too many times.
Yes, automated system. It will give you a slap on the wrist if you do that too often. Thankfully, both cars still running, and a little bit of a loss of momentum there. And I think Martha, unfortunately, has lost another place there. I believe that was to Brewster.
Yep, so that's another one gone. Richard's holding P6 already using his the hybrid. So yeah, lap 1 can't use it. So winners and losers. Mitchell Scott's lost a few places there. Yeah, Hart sadly had a bad start, 9th to 16th. But Herlock just kind of putting a nice little 7/10. Can't go too silly, but need to look after those soft tyres as soon as you can. But fighting up and down already.
Absolutely. Those soft runners at the front, we've got the top 4 at the moment, all on that softer tyre. They're all definitely looking to build a gap and settle in for the long run. They'll definitely have to take care of those tyres towards the end of this race. We'll also call out, you'll see on the timing tower, a little lightning bolt. That is when the drivers are making use of their boost system to get that little bit of extra horsepower to help them make progress in this race.
Yeah, I'm just watching Butcher in 5th at the moment, fighting Dan Kell. He's obviously Butcher's on the first guy on the mediums, and I think he'll be doing his best to try and keep on the back of Dan Kell and just kind of hold, just try and stay with those 4 guys, and just kind of see what happens. But Herlock's just kind of, dare I say it, lap 3, kind of driving off into the distance a little bit, isn't he?
He's definitely controlling the pace at the moment, isn't he? He is running the race with authority. He doesn't have a car immediately in his mirrors to worry about. He can just focus on his marks and make his way cleanly and efficiently through the corners. A little bit of a slide there on the way into McLean's, but he's styled that one out and he's now well on his way up to Coppice. It's
probably helping also the gap between O'Leary and Cripps there is only 3/10. So we'll have a little look now at what happened to Crook here. So yeah, we're going down the Craner curves. We're getting to the right-hander. We're getting to that left. Do we lose their tail end a little bit? He's kind of avoiding his teammate, I think. And then in doing so, he kind of had to exit stage left. And yeah, sadly just couldn't get it slowed down.
So that's really unfortunate. Again, one of the, unfortunately, in this case for him, brilliant things about Donington Park. It's incredibly punishing. If you get it slightly wrong on that weight transfer going down the hill towards the old hairpin, you will be a passenger. But unfortunate to not obviously have a bit of a longer run here in the first race, but I'm sure he'll be back for more in the second. Yeah,
O'Leary and Cripps is getting close. I think Cripps there was losing a little bit of boost, and O'Leary responds and says, "No, mate, I've got some boost as well. don't come down near me just yet. And there, look at that. The Crips, and then Butcher is also. I mean, Butcher's not even used a lap worth of boost yet, so he's sitting pretty, just kind of holding on, just seeing what they get up to. But I mean, he's pushed. Given the chance, he will push that Honda, wouldn't he?
He absolutely would. I wonder if there's just a little bit of management, a little bit of care being taken on the tyres, not wanting to make them last. But you definitely would put your money on Butcher right here. He is absolutely all over the back of that Honda.
Yeah, and there you go. There's the example of that boost there. So Crips just came out that corner, whacked the boost on, and just said, right, let's make ourselves a little bit of a gap, give himself a little bit of breathing space for a moment, and then it all kind of goes again next lap, really.
Absolutely. Oh no, we've got a car off. We've got Haskell off in the Infinity, recovering though, thankfully, so he's still in the race. But shame there to obviously have him drop to the back there.
So what was that? That was just going through, I think, McLean's or Coppice. He's just lost the back end ever so slightly. And yeah, around she goes, sadly, for him.
Mitch Murray is on the move. He's going forward. He's now hassling the back of a Honda, looking well and truly at the inside through the old hairpin there of wire.
Just having a look, see out my 14th place in the meantime. Oh, yeah. Oh, careful, guys. It's not break stuff. Oh, Cameron's very sideways with Jordan Osborne there. What happened there? There's a bit of a yeah. There you go. Bit of a queue forming there, but he was under pressure. I don't know. I think that was Osborne trying the inside line, and that wasn't really on. So yeah, there's a big gap between 5-second gap between 12th and 11th. So Brewster there kind of made a couple of places up, and be hoping for more shenanigans up the front, as it's Crips and O'Leary and Herlock just trying to get away.
Indeed, and such is the challenge of the sprint format we have here. You've got to get your moves done early. If you scrap, you get these situations where you have some kind of trains forming, distinct battle packs, and it definitely looks like Brewster is at the head of this one at the moment.
Definitely, yeah. I'm just seeing what other battle packs there are, and there's definitely 9th, 10th, and 11th is sticking close, and then you've got a bit of a gap, and then suddenly you've got 8th, 7th, and 6th keeping close to each other as well. Kind of seeing what the gaps are at the moment. It's spread out now a little bit, the top three. Yep.
Marie and Wire continuing to have their scrap, but it looks like the beneficiary may very well be Richardson, taking a lovely opportunist move. As those two were scrapping, he's powered his way through up the inside. So will he now close the deal? Yes, he will, and Marie follows him through. Yeah,
like I said, a good tactical use of the boost there, just to get the move done, and just kind of, like I said, you really can use it on these straights. I'm loving the livery, by the way, of the Calamity. I should know which one it's based on, but it's lost me for a second.
I'm pretty sure it's the old Mondeo, but I may be wrong. I'm happy to take answers on a postcard. But it's fantastic to see a real lovely set of liveries out there. Unsung heroes, the livery makers, they've put together some fantastic work up and down the field. And they're getting well and truly shown off as they run side by side down towards the old hairpin.
Yeah, they're doing a fantastic job there showing off. I'm loving the neon green as well on that Honda. That's fantastic. I'm just seeing what other battles we've got going on. Matt Richards, Scott, we're going to get a replay, in fact, of Osborne. So what happened here? So he's having a look at Brewster. Is he going to chuck it down? He has chucked it down the inside. Oh, yeah, he wasn't really. Not quite the race 1 move that's going to stick. You may get away with that in race 3, but no, not in race 1.
Yeah. McLean's is one of those corners that if you want to go through it quickly, you definitely would leave the door open, and looks like 2 into 1 did not go there. But thankfully they've both survived that one and are carrying on in this one.
Yeah, they are indeed. I'm just seeing what's happening at the moment. Yeah, so Leary in second. Again, they're kind of saving those boosts, those boost laps. Kel's used a few more, but he's made them to good use to get himself up to 3rd place. A nice 4 positions. Mitch Marie also making 4 positions up. And we've got this battle. I mean, this is what I love about touring cars. This battle's up and down the field here. This is we're fighting for 18th. We should say points go down to 15th. So we're fighting for maybe a chance of a point at the end, but it's a fight nonetheless.
Absolutely, and every point matters. We've seen championships decided by fine margins, so it absolutely matters to fight for every single point and opportunity you've got here. Making excellent progress in this race so far is Joseph Herlock. He's up a number of positions and is starting to ask some questions of Martha Allington, as she is just keeping a watchful eye on the battle pack ahead. I think that may be Willis and one of the King's cars.
Yeah, I think that's Willis and Nichols there. But, you're looking at 18th, but then there's a point just up the road there, a few tenths away. So kind of hoping for a little bit of chaos just to keep it spicy. I'm watching at the moment 8th and 7th. Scott Mitchell, Nick Jack's teammate, Scott Mitchell. Oh, blimey, they're going 3 wide as well. Scott Mitchell Mam is currently fighting with Mitch Marie on the start. Yeah, here we go. It's just complete kind of... Whoa! Oh, no, that's going to cause a bit of chaos!
Oh, almost spinning into the pit lane. Oh, dear. Well, he's recovering, and thankfully no one else kind of collected in that. But, as you say, 3 into 1 doesn't go in most places, but definitely not the Roberts chicane.
No, it doesn't, sadly. Yeah, this is kind of, I think, the highest kind of position battle we're seeing here is 7th Callum Wilson. We've got Mitch Marie in the middle, Scott Mitchell Mam in 9th. So we're kind of, only 8 seconds away from the leader, who's, even actually the gap between the leader and O'Leary is down to 3 tenths now as they've started using the old boost as we're over halfway through the race.
Yeah, O'Leary is definitely keeping Herlock very honest at the front of the field. And it looks like they've both not used much boost so far. So we'll have to see how they make use of it. Looks like as we just wrap up this point, they've used all of the boost they can use on this lap. And they've got a little icon there. O'Leary taking the fastest lap of the race so far.
Yeah, he is, and he's getting a little replay here of the chaos involved. So Jack, nice, gets a slide there, then a tank slapper, tries fixing it, goes wide, tries fixing it again, and just runs out of tarmac. And a little nudge for his for him as well there, as first and second fighting away.
Absolutely, this gap is. It's definitely concertinaing a little bit, but as I say, O'Leary is definitely keeping Herlock very, very busy and definitely not giving him an easy ride. Look at the BMW hustle its way over the rise there through the right-hander of McLean's. Such a fantastic corner, as mentioned. So you've got to take a very wide line to get optimum speed through there, but huge challenge with the changing undulation and the exit. If you get that wrong, you're an absolute sitting duck for Coppice the next corner.
Yeah, it's a long time you've got to wait and think about the mistakes you've made. Just looking, kind of Dan Kell's currently sat in third there, not really with a fight going on, just quite happily doing his thing. And then we've got 4th and 5th also kind of battling close. So this top 5, it's definitely not sorted out yet as we watch Mitch Marie. And that must be Scott, yes, and Wilson. No, hang on, I'm getting a bit wrong here, aren't I? No, it is Scott. And all going into turn 1. Are they all going to make it through? Battle of the Fords, battle of the 2 old school liveries, and they've just about made it through. Anyone want to pick up the pieces? Yeah, that Honda definitely does. Of Richardson, he's going to have the inside for the right-hander, and then have the outside for the left-hander. Is he going to be able to hold it there for the inside of Old Hairpin? Yes, he is. And then it's going to be... Oh, well, yes, definitely. If some good old lawn cutting there, he gets the place.
Lovely stuff. Good respect being shown, and the focus is well and truly focusing on each other going through Redgate there. Gotta love some good fair rubbing as racing touring car action.
That's it for the next 29 races of this, haven't we?
Yes, we do.
Butcher here on Cripps. Like I said, it's interesting. Butcher first on the mediums is keeping Cripps honest. Like I expected Cripps to run up the road here a little bit, but Butcher's kind of hanging on his coattails and just saying, I'm ready for you. 5 laps to go when your tyres go off. I wouldn't mind that 4th place and maybe a little bit more up the road. He's also got an extra lap of boost compared to Cripps, whereas Kells used a lot of his to kind of then be in a battle of no one. So hopefully that works out for him for the end of the race.
Indeed. I mean, Chris Butcher, our 2020 champion, he knows how to put a race together. He knows how to put a championship together. So he's definitely keeping Cripps honest as they make their way up the hill once again. Again, interesting dynamic here. Is that option tyre actually a bonus, or is it going to be a negative? We'll only find out as the evening goes on and everyone gets their chance to use those tyres.
Yeah, I think these long old corners, so yeah, kind of Coppice and Old Hairpin. I used to overheat my tyres all the time at Old Hairpin. It's going to really kind of, by the end of it, it's who's got the right setup. And we're going to get a replay here of Ben Willis. What are we up to here? So we're going down towards the S's. Oh, a little bit on the grass? No? Oh, it's going to get a tank slapper. Literally a near replay of Jack Nicholls. The difference being he doesn't get a tank slapper out of the corner. Oh no, please don't. I've just commentator's cursed a replay. Manages to hold it all together and yeah, still going in the race. I think he's currently down in 19th place. So yeah, he managed to hold position.
So not too bad. Front wheel drive cars, of course, very light on the rear. If they get upset, you're a bit of a passenger. But tell you who's on a passenger on the Hurlock train, it's Thomas O'Leary, really hassling, and he's got a gap. He's got up the inside, bit of contact. They're now side by side running up towards Coppice. Has he got the move done? Will Hurlock allow him through? Yes, he will. But I'm sure this one is not done and over. Long run now down towards the final chicane. O'Leary immediately going defensive. Neither of them on the boost, but this is going to be a drag race down to the chicane.
They were on boost on the exit of the corner. Now it's going to be a who's the. Please don't contact, guys. Anyone save the boost for the exit? They both saved boost for the exit, so they're both probably going to finish it up. Are they going to use it again next lap? They won't be able to, though. You have to wait 5 seconds between the end of using boost and using it again. As O'Leary's going to try the outside line, I think.
Yes,
again, they're going to use that boost.
Fantastic respect being shown, space being given. Side by side, coming up for almost half a lap now, folks, as they run down towards the old hairpin for the 14th time, and Hurlock hangs on.
Yeah, it's just about hangs on. I think they've both got the same amount of boost left. I think they've actually got enough boost to use it for all the remaining laps. So after when that cycles round on the tower, yes, they do. So they've both got boost, but it's still, with a few tenths gap, if that, between them, there's definitely still more time to use it. As Butcher here on Cripps, as I said, those soft tyres starting to go on that Honda. It could be he's hanging around. Oh, look, he's still having a look, O'Leary, these different lines of the rear-wheel drive.
Absolutely. I'd say different drivetrains get different strengths and weaknesses. Is there a little look here, a little feint into the braking zone? I think so. So we've got some chess and brinksmanship going on here down into the final chicane to close out another lap. Immediately back onto the boost. Oh, we're going to have to keep an eye on here because we also have a back marker in the frame. We might have some traffic affecting this one.
Yeah, I hope not. Hopefully they realise the blue flags, that they do kind of politely move out of the way, let these guys through. As likewise, yeah, Butcher and Cripps. Oh, we've got a yellow in Sector 3. What's going on in Sector 3 there? May have a car possibly going round? I think so.
Just why looking at... Oh, no!
Yeah, we've lost the rear wing of the Cooper there. That's a shame. I'm sure we'll get a replay later on that one. But we'll... Oh, in the meantime, Butcher's going to have a look.
Lovely stuff. He's been working this move for a little while now. He's got a little bit of momentum. Does he have the overlap? No, not on the brakes into McLean's this time round. And here's O'Leary. We've got 2 fights, my goodness, like buses. We've got action up and down, and we now have O'Leary trying the outside line again on Hurlock along this long back straight towards the final chicane. Who's going to take advantage this time? You defend into here, you're slow on the start finish, and you're vulnerable into the first corner.
I think that's what kind of O'Leary's hoping for there, is that he can use the boost all the way to the line. He got a little bit there, but I don't think he'll have enough to make it turn. Well, he's going to have a look.
Oh, he's looking. Oh, hard to tell with the perspective. I thought he was going to have a little lick of the stamp and send. We've got the lights being flashed. Hurlock, hello traffic, please mind out. So we run our way down on the last lap.
Yeah, I think he would really like that traffic to please don't be in the way. We're coming to get you very quickly. Just having a look, see what other battles we've got. But I think we're going to have to focus on this one because this is where it's going to get exciting for the first win. As we get a replay, Osborne on the blue Hyundai takes a nice line, and then he's all okay so far. On the exit, he covers too much.
Oh no!
Yeah. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
that was unfortunate.
That's a shame. Probably didn't realise there wasn't quite an overlap, but we got to follow these guys to the end.
Absolutely. This is 1 corner to go, and it's a little bit of a look. Will O'Leary lick the stamp and send it? No, he holds position for now as they run through the final chicane. Hurlock pressured the whole way, but holds on and wins race 1 of TCUK 2025. O'Leary very close behind. Fantastic racing and respect shown by the both of them. We've had Kel come through in 3rd.
We've missed something with Cripps though. Cripps is down to 11th, so we've missed something there with Butcher and Cripps, I imagine, because actually Richards wasn't too far behind Butcher. So have they had a coming together during the end there? I'm going to have a quick look myself as you want to call down the rest of what's going on.
Absolutely. So we have Matt Richards, I think you mentioned, finishing 5th there. Good result. We've got Scott Mitchell-Marm finishing in 6th with Chris Wilson. Mitch Marie, good good work there, finishing up in 8th overall, with Sido Wire finishing 9th, with Richardson rounding out the top 10. Interesting to see a good mix of medium runners actually gaining positions.
We're getting a replay now here of Butcher on Cripps. So as we're going into McLean's, oh dear, yeah, that's a shame. That's a real shame. I don't think there's any malice in it. I think he's got the inside. He's looking at it, but I don't think he's hoping to. Yeah, Cripps is kind of breaking where he needs to breaking with the track, and I just don't think that Butcher realizes that that's how it's going to work. And yeah, a bit unlucky there. Butcher's actually very lucky to finish 4th after that, because he's obviously got a lot of damage on that front left, because he actually then goes very wide at Coppice onto the gravel. That explains why Matt Richards was actually really close to there getting to 4th place, but Butcher just about holds on preliminary to 4th.
Indeed. So we've got your full race results here, which we'll now run through. So Dan Hurlock winning round 1 from Thomas O'Leary, with Dan Kell rounding out our podium. Chris Butcher currently in 4th place, along with Matt Richards rounding out the top 5. And then we have Scott Mitchell-Marm for Kings finishing off in 6th. Callum Wilson for Brabham in the 444 car came home in 7th, with Mitch Marie close behind, and the Ford Focus for 8th. Cedar Wire for Brabham finished 9th, with Jordan Richardson for Vapor Shield rounding out the top 10.
That's great. We had top 3, all 3 different classes. Vauxhall from BMW from Ford as the 11th place there, as we saw. Callum Cripps, a bit unlucky there with the contact. Cameron Brewster, 14th to 12th, so not too bad. Mark Allington, 13th. Hurlock, Joseph Hurlock, in fact, yeah, I think 22nd to 14th, so that's a nice load of places made, and 2 points for tonight so far. Fraser Hart getting that single point in 15th, and then it's Alan Axon, Emil Salberg, Louis Neal, who started last, so again made a few places up there, Ben Willis, who did very well to hold it all together out of the S's, 19th, and then Alan Smith in 20th.
Right, then we have Jack Nichols for Kings Racing. He had his moment going through the chicane in 21st. Archie Jardine for Jardine Motorsport coming home 22nd, with Tom Mould in 23rd. We then had a couple of the unfortunate cars. So Osborne losing his rear wing in 24th. James Haskell in the Infinity rounding out the finishers in 25th, with Croak rounding out the field and the finishing order in 26th, following that really unlucky moment down into the old hairpin.
Yeah, we've actually had some. I'm just watching the live chat on YouTube. Hello, everyone. Actually, someone saying that their pedals glitched. They couldn't actually stop the car. So the computer equivalent of a brake failure. So that's why they just kind of went straight on there. Luckily, then avoiding everyone else having had his own accident. Luckily, didn't take anyone with him.
Absolutely. The racing may be virtual, but the failures are well and truly real. Having had one myself in the past, yeah, it's never fun when your equipment has a moment. And, well, unfortunately taking him out of the race in this instance, but thankfully no one else.
Yeah, that was... It was a shame there with the Cripps and Butcher contact. That Cripps not too happy. The Butcher strikes again is what he's commented on YouTube. But I'm sure this is why after these races we do have stewards. You can put in reports, and things are looked at as to who was in the right, who's in the wrong, and then we'll do our parishes notices at the next race as to whether there were any penalties, grid penalties, and time penalties, and obviously. Like many leagues, we also have license points. And if anyone's a fan of Formula 1, you'll know you get so many license points, you get a race ban.
Hopefully no one obviously gets that fate this year, but it's touring car racing. We love it. It's close. It's argy-bargy, but of course there's some things which overstep the mark. So we'll have to see how the stewards deem all of the various incidents so far. Hopefully we don't have too many more like that.
Yeah, and what this also means is that for race 2, the grid will be the same as the results in race 1, which obviously is bad news for Cripps. However, the top, and I'm going to get this wrong, I want to say top 12 will now have a number of laps they can use the boost, and the amount, top speed at which the speed at which they can activate it. Actually, it's the top 8. I've just checked, not top 12. So some of them, the guy on pole will have it set at the latest, a higher speed than the guy in second, and they'll have less laps they can use it. So it's a kind of this is where the tactics really start.
Absolutely. Everyone was equal in the first race, not anymore. We'll definitely see some, I'm sure, clever use in attack and defense as different drivers have different quantities and deployment speeds, just to give that racing a little bit of extra spice. An interesting first race, Phil. We definitely had some heroes making some serious gains. Interesting, I think, the option tyre, not as powerful from a lap time point of view as I was expecting.
Yeah, the mediums were able to hold on. Sorry, the softs were able to hold on. I was really expecting those softs to really run up the road and then kind of collapse backwards towards the mediums to the end of the race. And as Butcher showed there, he kind of stayed within a second of Cripps for most of that race. And then sadly, obviously that all happened. But we'll see. I think there's more people using it in race 2. I think we've got 11 drivers. I'll quickly, as we got a bit of time, I'll run through the options for race 2. Cedo Wire, Matt Richards, who have we got? Emil Salberg, Scott Mitchell-Mam, Martha Allington, Jack London, Cameron Brewster. So Cameron starting in 12th for those softs. Nathan Croak, Chris Butcher. Butcher's going to be in an interesting spot then, starting 4th on the softs. Alan Smith, Louis Neal, and Jordan Osborne are soft runners for race 2.
Yeah, we'll have to see if the Butcher can carve his way forward and make those option tyres.
Now, hang on here. I'm going to quickly intervene here and point out that I'm usually, of our group, I'm usually the one making the really bad dad jokes, and I feel like I'm missing out here. So I'm going to have to kind of get the old thinking hat on and start writing down some to throw in the old stream.
Plenty of time, plenty of races to catch up, my friend. Have no fear. So yes, we'll have to see how those 11 drivers do in this next race. I always recall being on the grid here at VMO, hearing and seeing the tyres be announced and go, curses! My grand strategic plan of having the fast tyre has been thwarted, as everyone had the same idea.
Everyone's doing the same thing. And yeah, going back to the weather that can happen obviously later in the season. The rules here dictate that if you use, I have to get this right, if you set your soft to be in race 1 and it rains and you decide to take the wet tyre, you then have to use the soft in race 2. If again it's raining and you want to take the wets, you can, but you'll then have to use that soft in race 3. Likewise, however, if you were to pit during that race for dries, so let's say race 1 you selected softs but you started on wets, if you pit for dries, you have to take the softs. And then that counts as you taking those softs, and you'd use the main tyre for races 2 and 3. So obviously pitting in touring cars is quite a rare occurrence. We don't have red flags for too much rain here. We have red flags for servo crashes, which in itself are rare. So whether it's worth taking it, sometimes it just would be start on the right tyre and just kind of hope for the best. And there's been a fair few times I've looked at the weather and gone, I'm starting 20th. You know what? It's not raining, it's only a few spots. I'm going to take the wets and hope that it chucks it down, and then obviously it dries up.
So Mother Nature is like that sometimes. You just have to roll the dice sometimes, and if you get it right, you're a hero. If you get it wrong, you're a zero. As the great Murray Walker always said, you got to be on the right tyres at the right time. So we'll have to see how folks do in this race. And we should also say we've obviously had our first race results with drivers getting points, but we have a couple of other championships as well as the Drivers' Championship being fought for and contested over the remaining 29 races this season. We have the Teams Championship, but we of course have the Independence Championship for drivers who are not associated with a team. And also, I believe for the first time this year, the Challenger Cup, that competition for drivers in VMO who have not yet won a race. So it doesn't matter who you are, your allegiance with a team, there's something to race for, and battles and scraps wherever you may be on the field.
Yeah, and we should point out that there's no different points given, so it's still the same. 25 points for 20 points for a win, down to 1 point for 15th, and that for that challenger. So the challenger criteria is if you've not won a race yet, you're part of the Challenger Cup. Even if you win a race during the season, you still count towards the Challenger Cup. And obviously next season, if you've then won a race already, you won't be part of it. So it gives newcomers and those that haven't stood on the top step of the podium to give something to aim for, which is the first time they've run it here this league. So we'll see how that plays out.
Absolutely, and a lovely little way just to give a little bit of incentive to everyone that there's always something to race and fight for. So, a lovely little addition, and yet another thing just to keep an eye on as the series runs on this year.
We saw the race, we saw the battling even for 18th and stuff. It's fantastic. It really does kind of spice things up, even when you're fighting for. Hopefully, you're kind of fighting for 18th, hoping for some chaos at the end. I'm sure someone there was 16th. Sorry, I mean, even the guys that were kind of, 10th, 11th, thinking, yeah, well, this would be nice. But then obviously they've gained a position right on that last lap.
Mm-hmm. So just wanted to say again, hello everyone on the stream. Thank you so much for your messages. Excellent point from Tom Parker about the start of the first race, actually, which I think definitely caught me out. It was a very quick light sequence there to get the race going, and it's definitely interesting to see, for example, the BMW of O'Leary not making more headway off the start there.
Yeah, he definitely, I think, didn't react quite quick enough there, and it suffered for it really. Yeah, sadly didn't help with the fight against Herlock. You do think what would have been if they'd had the same start time, but we see it all kind of forms of sport. It is random, when those lights go out, and you just need to be ready to drop the clutch and don't drop it too much, but do drop it, but not too much, but not enough. And yeah, you can see how you can sometimes. I was never very good at starts. I don't know what you were like for starts, but I used to struggle, even in the front wheel drive Focus.
No, I still do to this day. I definitely find the rolling starts I do when I race are a big help. But it's all part of the fun, practicing getting the technique down and right. And well, when you get it right, boy, do you get it right. And you see some hero clips of +4, 5 positions just before the first corner.
Yeah, I don't know how this rundown compares to other races. Obviously, Thruxton's got turns 1 and 2, but it is a full throttle long run down to what I'd call the first braking corner, whereas here it's quite far, but then you obviously got quite heavy braking down to that red gate.
Yeah, I think Snetterton might be on for a good shout of longest distance between grid and first corner. But
there's a stat we'll have to go investigate, aren't we, later?
I think so. But no, it's another interesting dynamic, of course, with the rear-wheel drives obviously having a little bit of a traction advantage off the starts. They normally do get a little bit of a jump on the field, but yes, I mean, Phil, tell me, out of the lineup of tracks that we'll be visiting this season, which one jumps out at you as your favourite?
I mean, I've managed to last this long without mentioning it. I think it's going to have to be Brands Hatch GP for me, which obviously is right at the end of the season. Because as we said, we've shared top 10s. We've both been on podiums here, and between us, we've got a race win.
Yes.
And it was race 3. Oh, blimey, 2023, I think it was. It wasn't last year. It must have been the year before that. So 2023, that was my one and only race win. Was at race 3, Brands Hatch GP. It's race 30. Everyone's gone home. They've kind of, the season's pretty much all been done and dusted. And I managed to get a reverse pole, which obviously we explained at the end of race 2, and kind of just quickly run away. The 2 cars behind me battled really hard, created a massive double line train, and just about held on and won by a few seconds. And that's my one and only race win. I'm sure I won't mention it at all for the rest of this season.
So there you go. There's your Challenger Cup entry ripped up for you, Phil.
Oh, yeah.
But there we go. I mean, well, I don't know about you, but we've both had a go. We both were no good. So let's talk about it instead. So there we go. No, it's all good fun here. And I mean, I must admit, there's such a wonderful variety of circuits that we visit. Obviously, mirroring the British Touring Car Championship, all offer a little bit of something special. But I will be a little bit biased. It is my local circuit, but Thruxton, oh, what a place! Like no other.
Yes, as obviously if you're watching British Touring Cars, as we saw at the weekend, it can throw up some interesting overtakes. I went to Donington as well last year to watch Touring Cars, and it was it wasn't. It was the GP circuit. Yes, it was in August, and had great fun. Really easy circuit to kind of walk around. Thruxton, you can't walk around, sadly, as I think we are on our formation lap for race 2.
Oh, well, there we go. Let's say everyone get back into your seats. No more walking. We've got the grid forming. So we've got, as they finished in the first race, leader Herlock, winner will lead us away here in race 2. He'll be followed by O'Leary. The second row will be comprised of Dan Kell and Chris Butcher, and rounding out our top 5 will be Matt Richards.
Yep, so in 6th place we've got Scott Mitchell-Marm, Callum Wilson in 7th, Mitch Marie in 8th, Acedo Wire in 9th, and Jordan Richardson in 10th.
So we've got Callum Cripps and Cameron Booster rounding out the 6th row, with Martha Allington, Jordan Herlock, and oh heavens, this is what paying me back for not being in the server. Fraser Hart, there we go, rounding out the top 14.
Yeah,
oh, Herlock in the pits.
Yeah, Herlock's not actually, he's in the pits, so not quite sure what's happening there, Joseph Herlock. 16th, I'll run through these from here. 16th, we've got Alan Axon, Emil Salberg in 17th, Louis Neal in 18th. He made up a few places in race 1. We'll see if he can kind of get himself for the tail end of race 2 reverse grid contention. Ben Willis 19th, Alan Smith in 20th, Jack Nichols also having a little bit of a mess about the S's, 21st, Archie Jardine 22nd, Tom Mould 23rd, Jordan Osborne 24th, and the back row is James Haskell and Nathan Croak. And it's worth pointing out that Joseph Herlock is going to the end of the pit lane, so he will be taking the race start, but he will sadly have to wait for all those other cars to go by before he can join the race.
So that's unfortunate, but he's made some good passes to already to get up into the points. I'm sure he will look to do the same, and well, who knows? The rate he made progress, he might be in with a shout of that reverse grid, which we'll get to at the end of the second race. So as they're now making their way through the final chicane and about to take their grid slots, we'll just wait for everyone to get positioned and ready. Looks like we've got the focus, I believe that is of Kell, looking a little bit to the inside of Herlock there.
I think they all are, they, on that side. Worth pointing out, Herlock was going to start 14th, which is my lucky number to watch. So I may have to watch Martha Allington instead. She is starting 13th, so I'll keep an eye on her progress.
All right, lovely stuff. Looks like we've got everyone formed up. We wait for the lights. I've said that preemptively. There we go. Lights out and away we go. And it looks like we've only got a few cars. Oh dear, we've had a few cars go, but
we've had a technical issue. They've called a red flag there.
Oh dear.
Fantastic racing for race 2 done. No, we've had we've had a slight technical issue. So we should explain here. We've got this new boost system. We've got a new timing tower, which the admin team have written basically, nearly from scratch. And it's doing us a really good job, but like anything, it's all kind of hiccups in the system. Having some issues with the HEMS server, which is so to explain the boost system. So obviously, as I've said, different drivers, different number of laps, and different speeds they can activate it. You're probably wondering, how can we do this in R Factor 2? So the Gothenburg, I'm gonna get this wrong. Was it Gothenburg International Racing League?
Checks my notes. Internet.
I think that was it. So they've written, like I said, it's an external server. So when you're pushing the boost button, you're effectively asking the server, not RF2, can I have the boost? And then the server comes back as yes or no, based on obviously the speed you're doing and have you used it for all your applicable laps. And then it uses the RF2 boost. So we've obviously done, as I said, we've done pre-season testing. We need to obviously make sure that's working. And we had a few drivers apparently saying they had no boost. So we've having everyone had it at the start of the race 1, we were going to have it set up that no one's going to have it in race 2. So hopefully we can get that working and carry on with this evening's racing. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll keep an eye on things with the stewards.
Well, hopefully not with the stewards. Oh boy, that's a room I wouldn't want to be in, either as a driver or a steward. But yes, well, we've mentioned it once or twice. Let's talk through what will happen with the result of this second race when we get there, which is our reverse grid.
Yes, so I'm going to get these numbers wrong, but it's 7 to 12 and 6 to 12. I've just been shouted that down my earpiece. Thank you very much, Mr. Cameraman. We've actually, like British touring cars, we throw them into the hat, we pick out a number, and whatever number that is, they will start on pole. So let's say, for example, out of 6 to 12, we pull out 9. That means 9th will start first, 8th will start second, 7th will start third, until the guy on pole the guy that finished first in race 2 will actually start 9th. And in those situations, it really sucks if you finish P10 because you would start race 3 in P10. And you always sit there thinking, if only I overtook that driver into the last corner, I'd be starting on pole now. Obviously, the higher the number, the more crazy the reverse grids. And yep, 12 is always fun because we do get top 12 reverse as we are back on formation lap again. And hopefully the server shenanigans have been resolved.
Absolutely. As we know, technology is fantastic until it decides to not work. So hopefully we've got those gremlins sorted out now. Thank you to the folks behind the scenes for getting those things sorted out as quickly as they did. And we'll just run through that starting grid for you, Phil, if you wouldn't mind taking us away.
Yep, I'm just going to quickly run through surnames because it's going to be nice and easy. So Herlock on pole, O'Leary, Kell, Butcher, Matt Richards. Obviously, point out there that we've got the top 3 on mediums, and then the next 3 on softs. We've got Mitchell Mammoth 6th, Callum Wilson, Mitch Baree. I'm just going to run through the whole lot. Cedo Wire, Jordan Richardson 10th, Callum Cripps 11th, Karen Brewster 12th, Martha Allington in 13th. This is obviously good news for Joseph Herlock in 14th because they are now taking the formation lap. Fraser Hart 15th, Alan Axon 16th, Salberg 17th, Louis Neal 18th, Ben Willis and Alan Smith, row 10, 19th and 20th. Jack Nichols 21st, Archie Jardine in 22nd, Tom Mould for CRS X-Car Esports in 23rd, that Jordan Osborne Unlimited Motorsports Esports, I'm never going to get bored saying that, in 24th, James Haskell in 25th, and then Nathan Croak in 26th, as we see Herlock round the final corner to take his grid spot.
There we go. It's a funny old world, but looks like Jordan might have gotten away with that one a little bit, but there we are. We've seen it happen in real life too. So as the grid now reforms for the second time here for the second race, everyone just getting themselves settled, prepared. Can definitely see some aggressive lining up in their grid slots as everyone slowly but surely pulls into their starting positions.
Yep, bad news for Martha. That does mean I'm going to watch 14th place at Joseph Herlock.
So it looks like we've got everyone gridded. We wait for those lights. There we go, and we are away for round 2 of TCUK 2025. Good even start from the front row. We've got, I believe that's Chris Butcher, the first of the option runners, tucking in behind as they run now down into Redgate. And we've got Matt Richards there in the Honda Civic having a look as well. Looks like we're getting pretty much everyone cleanly through Redgate as they run down towards the old hairpin for the first time.
Yeah, it's getting a bit argy-bargy there in the midfield, but they've just about all made it through, hopefully, as we go. Oh no, there's been shot. Where's that person going? They're going to Narnia by the looks of it. I don't know who that was, but they are falling down the order. It looks like it's Cedo Wire. Yeah, that's such a shame, and has got going again, though.
So I do feel we may have cursed folks with the commentators curse there as they're making their way down, but so these things do sometimes happen into the old hairpin, but looks like pretty much everyone is up and running as we've got a real fight here going on for, I believe, that is 3rd, 4th and 5th.
Yeah, as I had a quick look, it looks like Scott Mitchell had a little wiggle on and sadly took out Cedo and took out the rear wing, so I think that's probably their race over as, yeah, we're already getting a little bit argy-bargy going down into the S's, but hopefully we can all make it cleanly through.
Absolutely. Herlock with authority, stamping down yet again a fantastic opening lap to the race. Only 1 lap of boost and the medium tyres for him. We'll have to see how he makes on as Kell, I think. Look at that move from downtown.
No, he's going to be trying to chase Herlock and get the battle of the front wheel drives. We got no one using boost just yet. Obviously, like I said, they've only got a limited number of laps this time, so they kind of want to save it for later. Yeah, Richard's there. Holding on to 3rd, and we chasing down those 2 guys. Obviously, with 5 laps of boost compared to 3 and 1 for the guys ahead of him.
Absolutely. We're speculating maybe it's going to be Butcher who's going to be carving up a fantastic set of overtakes, but it's Richards with the soft tyres making moves. As we've got Cripps, I believe, up into 4th, is that?
Yeah, he's doing pretty well there. Up to 11th to 4th isn't a bad kind of way of starting, is it? So he'll be very happy with that. He's got Richards boosting to get ahead of Kell. Is he going to make it? Yes. So I think, yeah, that's the example there where you've got a guy with 5 laps of boost and a guy with 3. Kell's like, you know what, I'll save it for later. I'll take that one for now and just try and follow him.
Absolutely, we'll just have to see how Richards manages those tyres and makes headway as Herlock, now in 13th from his 14th place starting position, making his way down towards turn 1. We've got a little bit of a scrap just ahead. You've got Martha Allington looking to put some pressure on Salberg.
Obviously, we've also means we've got Cripps and Butcher 4th and 6th. Cripps is quite a bit off the road, actually. Should be safe from the Butcher. But Butcher is all over the back of O'Leary here.
Absolutely, looks like a bit of a BMW cork in the bottle as they run up the hill towards McLean's. Going very defensive on the way in, and this is going to slow everyone down. Advice to the recipe. So as they run up towards Coppice, we'll have to see, will that outside move work? Butcher.
He's lost a couple so far, Butcher, and I think we're now about to go 3 wide, which is going to make things really interesting. Anyone want to use boost, ladies and gentlemen? A bit of slipstream as well. There's no teammates here to help each other.
Oh no! Looks like we've got a bit of contact there. Have we been able to gather it up? No! Off into the
that's going to come back on the circuit. Oh no, he's taken over for... Herlock's been taken out by it as well. That is such a shame. Oh,
so never nice to have contact, never nice to get collected. We'll have to have perhaps a look at that one on the replay. But what a pity.
It was a real shame. So I think he's just clipped the barrier and it's kind of spat him massively out. And we've still got this traffic jam going down the hill as everyone wants to kind of get that elusive 12th place in the hope of that reverse pole. Scott Mitchell mum currently with it.
Absolutely, King's coming 2 by 2 as they go out of the old hairpin, and you've got this real gaggle of cars all in hot pursuit. We've got Louis Neal here in the BMW, in the Brabham X Ferretti car, following through, all very close, all very even. Definitely looks like wherever you've got a scrap, you have a big concertina of all cars around you, and that just opens the door for an overtake.
Yeah, in 8th and 9th place, Callum Brewster and Emil Salberg also having a great battle. Another kind of, like I said, a group of cars that, the higher they finish, the more likely they're going to get that, if not reverse pole, a really good high position for race 3, which is what you really want. There's Martha Allington looking round. Brewster there. Is Brewster going to hold the inside? Looks like they're going to. A little bit of game of tag as they tag each other around, but it looks like they're all still pointing in the same direction. And it's in the battle of no one's using their boost yet. I mean, Brewster's got a whole 8 laps worth, and Martha's used just the 1 so far, as Richards is using a bit more boost to try and catch up to Herlock.
Indeed, 5 laps down, still a long way to go in this one yet, and it's definitely interesting to see how folks are making use of their boost early to try and establish themselves. Replay here.
Yeah, so what we've got here, so Butcher obviously going around Coppice, sorry. So we go 3 wide, and it looks all fine so far. So we then go down to 2 wide, and then is it just the lightest of taps. And I thought he was going to front wheel drive, power it out, and as he kind of comes back, he hits a corner basically, rips the tyre off, and then as he comes back onto the circuit ever so slowly, it sadly comes to collect Herlock.
And it is the really tricky thing. It might not appear on the camera, but that last chicane, there's a real little elevation change in there. You are blind to a car being stopped there. So that is just really unlucky for Joe Herlock there. Hopefully he'll come back strong in the 3rd race.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the gap between Richards and Herlock, down to half a second. This is a view now from Herlock. Oh, this is going to be horrible to watch. You can't see anything that's going on. So you can't even see that Butcher's had his crash. He's just going to see, and then, oh, yeah, you tell me where Herlock's meant to go from that, and sadly, yeah, complete passenger, just taking his normal line, having his normal race, and then there's a Ford Focus sideways across the track, and that's like I said, that's the end of race 2, and kind of your evening in really many ways, because we're starting right from the back from race 3, and hopefully be trying to get 15th as we watch the top 2, as Richard is catching up on the Herlock.
Absolutely right, using those option soft tyres to full effect, more performance, but perhaps they don't last as long, so we'll have to see how he manages for the remaining 10 laps, but 0.3 of a second the gap now between 1st and 2nd, as we've now got also a scrap here. O'Leary putting pressure on the back of, I believe that's Callum Cripps.
That is indeed, but we've got another case of Dan Kell in 3rd place, just kind of poodling along on his own. I mean, okay, the gap's only a second and a bit to this fight, but hopefully those two kind of fight each other, hold themselves up a little bit, and Kell can run away for another podium. I imagine this is what the plan is there. As yeah, just seeing obviously O'Leary unlucky to drop from 2nd to 5th, and now he's got a rapidly. He's trying to hunt down that rapidly advancing Cripps that's made up 7 positions, but Cripps is going to use his boost on this lap and just kind of make use of it as Richards and Herlock is getting very close.
Absolutely, down to just a 1/10 of a second now on this, the 7th lap. Right up under that rear wing of that Vauxhall Astra, coming out of Coppice along the back straight towards the final chicane. Will Richards have a little look here? Yes, he does, over the rise. Will he make a move? No, he follows Herlock through here over the bumps. You got to get cheeky with those curbs, get as much momentum through there onto the start finish straight, and it does look like Herlock had a little bit of a better run there, so we'll have to keep an eye lap after lap. Is that Herlock with a little setup advantage helping protect him down into the first corner?
Yeah, and obviously the other thing to point out is, like I said, Herlock's got 1 lap of boost compared to the other 3 laps that Richards has got, so Richards just biding his time. On lap 8 of 16, we're only halfway through the race, or coming up to halfway, sorry. So, just I'll wait here. We'll just run away from the guys behind us, and then Herlock goes very wide there. And yeah, I'm sure Richards will be quite happy where he is, and just wait for another couple of laps, and then consider when to use that boost and hopefully run away.
Absolutely, just dancing on a knife edge, these cars, trying to carry as much speed as possible through the apexes of these corners. And it might be as well that they may actually be just saving their powder a little bit to the end of the race, like working together, just keeping that gap. So it can be a showdown between these two, perhaps in the last few laps. We'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, Kel, his quiet afternoon, I think, has come to an end.
Yeah, definitely. Cripps got the inside, and so nicely on the brakes. I think a little bit of boost to help him. Obviously, yeah, 3 out of 8 laps used so far. So he's going to run away. And, well, I wouldn't rule him out for 2nd place here, because he is only, what's the gap? There's only 3 seconds to Richards, and he's got an extra 4 laps of boost compared to the guys ahead of him. So yeah, don't rule out Cripps for just for 3rd just yet, as O'Leary wants to get involved in the party as well, by the looks of it.
Absolutely, a little bit of momentum lost there for the Focus, and the BMW is all over the back of it. So plenty of time still to make some moves. Of course, part of the fun of a little bit of a running wide there for the Honda ahead, but working out where do you have an opportunity against your rival to get that pass done cleanly and definitively.
Yeah, just looking kind of at the moment. So the person holding 12th place and the possible reverse grid is Jack Nichols. He's kind of got Alan Smith right on his backside, and it's a 4-second gap to 11th of his teammate. As Richard's looking at it. Richard's got it.
And very, I'd say, collaborative working sensibly there. Herlock didn't want to fight it too much, didn't want to lose too much time. Let's see how this now pans out. Will Herlock just try and keep with him and perhaps make some moves towards the end of the race? Or is this perhaps a little bit of consolidation? So you don't win championships on the bounce, as Herlock has, without a little bit of bigger picture race smarts. So we'll have to see how that goes, but change for the lead.
I think Herlock there, if I was him, you have to accept that, he won't know it, but Richards has got 2 laps of boost. He's only got 1. And yeah, mediums versus soft. We've got a nice 3.5-second gap to Cripps. We know he's got a few more laps of boost than him, and using it now, and just keep with Richards, keep following his slipstream, and yeah, hope for a mistake from Richards, but we both know that's not going to happen. But just try and, I think you've offered him 2nd right now. He'd be very happy.
I think, yeah, I would agree with you there. I certainly would. As we are running out of McLean's, this fight for 4th, 5th and 6th continues to intensify. I think we've got Wilson now on the boost, getting involved, giving O'Leary a little bit of a hard time. He's got a bit of a run. He's alongside. Will he get the move done on the brakes? Yes, he will. And I think, again, O'Leary being a little bit collaborative, working with him there to making sure that there's not too much time lost.
Yep, and because he's probably aware that behind him, Mitch Marie and Salberg in 7th and 8th will also want to join in this party, and they're not too far. The Battle of the Fords. And as we've got Mitch Marie on the inside, hopefully it doesn't run too wide. Very nice racing between the two of them so far down the hill. Hopefully that can last. So I think Salberg's got back in front.
Carried that momentum around the outside, down towards the old hairpin. Very nice, clean, respectful racing from these two focuses. What we like to see.
Yeah, Salberg's actually made up more places than Cripps. Cripps is up from 11th to 3rd. Salberg there, 17th to 7th. So I think a little bit of luck and a lot of soft tyre usage has helped him out here so far. He's got a bit of a gap there to Brewster in 9th. as we look back at Herlock and Richards. So Richards, yeah, saving those 2 laps of boost, probably waiting for. If you're Richards, you probably know with Herlock starting on pole, he's only got 1 lap to use. You're probably thinking he's going to save it. So you know what? I should probably save my 2 just in case. And that's probably the best thing he can do. Really is Herlock's kind of. Oh, we've got a 3-way fight as well for that 14th. I think is that 14th, 13th, and 12th.
I think so. On the brakes down into the final chicane, cleanly through. This fight far from over. Richardson having a little bit of a hard time now with the Hyundai coming up his inside, running down into Redgate, going very wide into the pit lane, trying to carry all that momentum. And here comes the BMW for fun.
Yeah, it looks like a brilliant move. Actually, it should point out it's Jack Nicholls in 12th. So these guys are fighting, hoping that there's a little bit of mistake up ahead by one of the 12 guys to get a hope of a reverse pole for race 3. Salberg is kind of on the roll. Like I said, up 10 places, fastest lap, soft tyres. And now he's on the going. Literally, that was commentator's curse right there. As I call it, we cut to him on the gravel, but he's still there, still behind 6th place O'Leary, and yeah, hoping to get involved. Oh dear, I think I've definitely cursed him.
I was going to say, I don't think there's a rallycross track historically at Donington, but Will's having a good go. I wonder if perhaps that's a little bit of tyre wear, a little bit of understeer, just getting that power down.
Yeah, and obviously the guys ahead of them are medium tyres, so yeah, it'd be interesting if Salberg needs to consider Mitch Marie behind and go, you know what, 7th place, that's not too shabby, let's just hold here for a bit. And
indeed so, and I think we've got from 3rd all the way through down to about 8th or so now, almost in a single line here in the same piece of track. So one mistake and you could be losing a lot of places here. Yeah,
and that's the worry, especially like I said, that reverse pole race 3, random number between 6 and 12 can really make your evening, as there's a yellow in sector 1, as I missed seeing who that was, but it looks like it's all cleared up as we hear Louis Neal is made a mistake at turn 1, possibly.
Yeah, just recovering, still in the race, still got some cars ahead of him to race with. Unfortunate, but still going, which is the main thing.
Yeah, he's had a quick look. Yeah, he's looking down the inside of Nathan Croak into turn 1, and yeah, it's a bit too optimistic and just a slight spin, but managed to hold it. Only lost a few places and is still going.
Still going, still fighting, looking around the outside, a little bit of rubbing with the Hyundai there, but nothing to manufacture there as they run through Coppice.
Replay here, so yeah, going down turn 1, kind of showing his nose. I think you had a problem there of Croak looking at the inside of that car, while Louis looking at the inside of Croak, and yeah, stopped it from doing a full spin, and just lost a few places there. Just looking now at Cameron Brewster and Mitch Marie. Fighting for. Sorry, I got that totally wrong, haven't I? No,
I think you're right. That's yeah, Brewster and Marie. They are fighting tooth and nail over 8th and 9th place out of the old hairpin. Looks like Brewster had the advantage on the way in, but Marie's been able to carry the speed. Looks like Brewster not giving up on this one though, rather than surely harrying the back of that Ford Focus.
I think what we're seeing here is the softs are just for a few of these drivers. The softs are just starting to go. So yeah, it's kind of a case of hang on. Also pointing out here, Mitch Marie's only got 1 more lap of boost, whereas Cameron can use it for all 3, I think. So he definitely not over there.
Not over indeed. And I think you're absolutely right. There's a little bit of a story here of the tyre choices. Richards has made progress. Salberg has made progress, but actually, otherwise, it's been pretty interesting. The soft runners.
Oh, there's a little bit of contact there between Dankel and is that Cripps again? Wilson, sorry, as they go down the hill. So Kel's got 1 more lap of boost to use out of his 3, and yeah, we've now got everyone else wanting to get involved behind, and then another train behind them. I didn't see if Herlock's used his boost, as he's going to save it for the last lap, but I imagine that obviously Richards is going to do the same with his 1 more lap he'll have.
Definitely getting towards the business end of this, the second race of this year. Oh, a little bit of contact there between O'Leary and the King's car, the Ford Focus there, but they are still running. Yeah, folks looking to make their final moves on one another to round out this race, and as mentioned, get a chance of that reverse grid draw.
Yeah, I noticed the gap. So Richard and Herlock both have a lap. In the last lap, they can use boost. If we're looking at a bit of a freight train of Brewster still fighting there. Mitch Marie,
Oof.
Martha Allington, Scott Mitchell, all happy to take places. Oh dear, is that an engine that's gone?
I think I saw some smoke. I thought it was a lockup. I think he's blown his engine.
Oh no. Oh, that's a real shame from up in 8th place. I think he's going to pull over, and that's that race over. Oh, that's a shame.
That's rotten luck. I mean, you always try and get a little bit of engine braking as you try and shed off the speed, but unfortunately, perhaps one gear too many, and bye-bye gearbox or engine, one of the two.
Yeah, that's a shame. As we're looking at, like I said, these fights aren't over. So Wilson's used all his laps of boost. Is he he's got a bit of a gap to... Where's Kel out of all this? I think... well, no, Kel's right on the back of him. So that's the train there. So this is going to be interesting because Kel's got some boost to use. Obviously, Wilson's going to go in the inside and defend it, as O'Leary's going to have a little look as well. It's going to be a bit of a boost run now as we got to Richards is also going to be coming around the final corner.
It is boxed in. Will he find a way through? Well, this is an individual who did find a way through. Matt Richards. Lovely run here through the second race. Used those tyres and boost beautifully. Wins race 2. Herlock follows through in second. Cripps, by the looks of it, is going to come home in third, is that?
Yes.
Have to wait for him to cross the line. And there we go. Everyone's crossed the line at once. Fantastic.
Yeah, so that's I said that Cripps, may fancy a look later on, and yeah, he's obviously got himself a podium. So great recovery from 11th, and Salberg is also 17th to 7th and fastest lap.
Yep, fantastic run for Selberg there. Strong run in the second race, put himself well and truly in contention. We are not done yet, though. We've got Osborne recovering from an unfortunate loss of wing in the first race. He is fighting, I believe this is Haskell, right up until the very end. Will the Infinity get a run? It's going to be very close. I think Osborne just held on there.
Yeah, he just held on. And so, great first victory for Richards. Is this going to be the story of the season, Herlock versus Richards? Because they kind of did, I wouldn't say work together, but they were both aware that, they needed to make sure they made a gap to third before they started racing each other a little bit too much. Obviously, I can't remember. I think they'll now both be starting on the mediums, and they'll both have, nearly the same, or one will have one lap of boost and one will have two. So they'll be very close together. And obviously, it also depends on how high that reverse number as to how far down they'll start.
Absolutely. Well, let's run through that finishing order for the second race of the evening. Matt Richards for Drake Racing coming home in first place, with Daniel Herlock, 2 strong races so far, coming home in second. Callum Cripps, great recovery for Brabham in the final podium position, with Dan Kell for Calamity in fourth place. Rounding out that top 5, Callum Wilson for Brabham Motorsport. Yeah,
got top 5 there for Brabham's, which will be really useful in the constructors. We've got Thomas O'Leary, Richardson Co-Racing 6th. Salberg 17th to 7th. Martha Allington also was 13th to 8th, so great few places she's made up. Mitch Marie in 9th, and then Scott Mitchell rounding out our top 10.
So as we look at 11 through 19, we've got Jack Nichols for Kings Racing. Good race for the Kings team there. Strong result in the second race. He's followed home by Alan Smith. Fraser Hart rounds out the top 12 with Cito Ware, the final Brabham car, in 13th. Alan Axon for Unlimited Motorsport Esports runs home in 14th, with Jordan Richardson following a few scraps there for Vapor Shield in 15th. Louis Neal, good race there through to 16th, following a little moment mid-race. Archie Jardine came home in 17th, with Tom Mould and Nathan Croak rounding out the top 19.
We had a slight little numbers issue there, which I'm sure we'll fix for the next race. So I think it's 21st here. There's Ben Willis, and then Jordan Osborne 22nd. James Haskell 23rd. Cameron Brewster there. Unlucky. I have to find out if that was brakes or engine or gearbox. Joseph Herlock in 25th, and then Chris Butcher with the big bang. Sadly finishing 26th.
Sadly so, but we mentioned just before in the build-up to the second race, this final race will be decided. The grid order will be reverse grid. We will have a random number drawn. If you finished in a position drawn, you will be on pole position. We have had that number drawn, and it is P8 who has been drawn as pole position. So looking at our finishing order, that will be Martha Allington. She'll be starting on the front row in that Hyundai for YTF Racing.
Yeah, that's great. And obviously, Emil, like I said, that 17th to 7th run means that they start second in race 3, just behind Martha Allington. And then obviously, yeah, we'll have Thomas O'Leary in third. I'm just going backwards now. So Callum Wilson fourth, Kell fifth, Cripps will be sixth. And this, what I'm interested in watching is Herlock and Richards. So they'll be starting seventh and eighth on the medium tyres with not much boost, and then a lot of people behind them with boost. They'll have, like I said, 2 laps for Herlock, 1 lap for Richards, and then the person in ninth is going to have 8 laps of boost.
Absolutely. Not quite maximum boogaloo in terms of the grid order there. It could be perhaps worse for Richards and for Herlock there in terms of positions they might want to gain to try and get a strong 3 races in this evening. But it's definitely going to liven things up as we have cars at the front with more laps of boost to deploy throughout this third race. And I don't know about you, Phil, I've always loved this reverse grid format. It gives that opportunity to folks to have a good run and hopefully chance at a podium. And with the grid being as close as it is here at VMO, it is a fantastic way to allow folks to get a good chance at a victory. It is just a really lovely way of keeping things fresh.
It is, and I'm the greatest respect to Martha Allington. Much like myself, we're people that aren't going to be the fastest over 1 lap. I've never had a pole. I think my highest qualifying position in VMO was something like 8th. I'm not a 1 lap specialist, so Martha, we're really happy with that pole position that they get for race 3. And there's luck involved. Obviously, we've picked out 8, and Martha finished 8th, but you've got to be in it to win it, right? So. That's the easy bit. The hard bits now is holding that position for 16 laps. The only good thing is starting 8th is I think they're going to have 8 laps of boost, or maybe they only have 7 laps. So it should be 8. So they've got the maximum amount of boost. There's no weight we have to think about this season, which is nice. So it'll just be kind of carry on. It's worth pointing out, by the way, we've heard that Cam was a engine failure. So I would guess, aggressive engine braking at the chicane, the old double downshift, and that was that really.
Fortunately though, in the virtual world, an engine repair is far faster than the real world, so I'm sure that will be sorted out and he'll be back on the grid for the third and final race of this evening. But yeah, really unlucky and such an easy mistake to make.
Yeah, it's just a real shame, and we'll see what kind of happens in this exciting race 3. And I think we'll very shortly be going to grid, which will be exciting to see. We'll have it a few more moments. We're just kind of sorting out technical bits and bobs. And race 3. I mean, race 3 in British touring cars, we know what it's like. We know what all the drivers are thinking. They're thinking, it's a few weeks until the next race to pop out a few body panels. So usually is a bit of elbows out in race 3. And especially as you then have, again, no disrespect to those starting on the front rows of the grid, but you'll have people at the front rows that maybe aren't used to being on the front rows, and people that we're used to seeing at the front, like Herlock and Richards, having to prove their worth from the kind of that midfield. And that midfield can be harsh if you're wrong place, wrong time, and kind of in that battle, that 2 wide becomes 3 or 4 wide, and you're scrapping for anything. So really interested to see how this final race plays out this evening.
No, absolutely, and I think you hit the nail on the head there. That and we've seen it this evening. You get in a little battle, you lose touch with the cars ahead, and you become very, very vulnerable. So, I think racecraft it takes many forms. Your ability to overtake in such a course, but there is that intelligence as well to know when to challenge someone, when to race someone, and when to perhaps let them go. And I think you saw a few instances in that second race, that bigger picture perhaps entering a few of our drivers' heads, even at this very early stage.
Yeah, points mean prizes, so you've kind of got to be there, and cars are just currently just warming up, having a few extra minutes of this warm up. So I mean, out of interest, Chuggy, obviously, what's your favourite track on this calendar? Obviously, you said Thruxton's your local track. Is it also your favourite?
It is. It's the fastest circuit in the United Kingdom, which is pretty fun in its own right. But it has commitment corners. Like you need to put your faith and trust into your car, into your setup. You've got a corner like Church. You get that wrong, you're going backwards, certainly nowhere fast. So it's a real challenge, and just due to the nature of the circuit being so fast, slipstreaming battles are always guaranteed. So I think it's a real circuit where it's all about the fundamentals, but it's also about the bravery of the driver, which is, well, a lovely combination to have. And certainly in the real world, if you've ever seen, for example, the classic Mini Coopers racing around there, oh my goodness, the entertainment value as a spectator is incredible. I can only imagine how much fun it is in the seat behind the wheel.
Yeah, I think the closest I've got to Thruxton is the same. I think closest you've got to Thruxton, that we've both walked the circuit when we were raising money for Billy Monger back in the day. And the two things you never get, and even same thing actually for Donington, seeing it in real life, the two things that a racing game never gives you, and you don't realise, is the width of the circuit. You know, it looks quite narrow when you're actually racing on them, but you watch them or walk on it, and it looks huge. And also the elevation change, like this downhill section we're seeing at Donington here, it do be downhill. It's a hill, sometimes games don't really show that very well. And obviously for real life, I mean, even Spa. I mean, I know it's not a touring car circuit, but you know, we walked up a Rouge and Radion, and it definitely be uphill.
So that'd be quite a good place to go one day. A little international visit to the south of Belgium, and that'll certainly have some slipstreaming battles there. That's for darn sure.
Can you imagine going through a Rouge in a touring car? I mean, that would be. I mean, I'm just thinking about that. Turn one would be hilarious. Let's shove them all into a little hairpin at turn one, and then if they've managed to agree their way through that, let's now throw them at 100. What would be hitting 130? 120
yeah.
Into they'll have to brake, because I don't think they have the downforce to go a Rouge and Radion, and then hope they get out the other side.
So it certainly would be an interesting experience in the dry, let alone the wet. But who knows? Beauty of the virtual world. We could try these things, of course, and it's nice and easy to do. So
see, I've always said. Yeah, see, my jokey thing, which I'm sure Ben Willis, one of the admins of this league, is going to love, I'm going to point out live on stream. I've always wanted to do lots of British circuits in reverse. Not literally put the car in reverse, pointing them the other way around the circuit. I'm just looking, I've got my own little track map here. I'm just looking, can you imagine going into a right-left chicane for turns 1 and 2, and then a long Starkey's straight, and then you've got Coppice Corner, blind, tightening entry into a left-hander downhill. And then you've got, once you get through McLean's and then Swartz, you've then got heavy braking at the old hairpin to then go all the way up the Craner curves in Hollywood or Redgate. I think that'd be interesting. Don't think it'll work very well, but it'd be interesting.
I think interesting is the word, and I won't lie, I'm kind of tempted to try it now you've mentioned it.
There you go. Dear admins, I've got a great idea. Obviously, Knockhill is the only one that they can technically do in reverse. It has the license that, you know, and I have done it on iRacing, and I must admit, having shouted about, it'd be great to try these circuits in reverse, I did not kill in reverse. It was terrible, because your brain is just used to, well, that's the line that you take through this corner. It did not go well.
Until you try, you don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
we're lucky. Go on.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, speaking of unknowns, and well, we'll see how it goes. We have our third race coming up very shortly, and I think it'd probably be worth mentioning the tyre situation. While we had 11 drivers on the option tyre in the previous race, we've got 9 in the next race. So we perhaps can have a quick run through of that, and we'll have to see how obviously that will pan out with this.
Quickly run through
grid.
them. I'll quickly run through those softs then. So it's Alan Axon, Jack Nichols, James Haskell, Joe Herlock. So poor guy having to start race 3 with the options. At least pick the right one, I suppose, in that regard. Jordan Richardson, Tom Mould, Ben Willis, and Callum Wilson are our soft tyre people for race 3.
So yes, just thinking through our grid finishing order. I have the memory of a goldfish, but I think Wilson was up there, and we saw some good progress, for example, out of the likes of Alan Axon. So we'll have to see what they can do with that tyre advantage.
I don't actually know who's highest.
Get ready.
Yeah, I don't actually know who's highest on that soft tyre. We'll have to, once the old timing tower comes up and we see what tyres everyone is on, it'll be easy to be able to call. We think the person in 4th is what I'm hearing. I may have heard that wrong, so we'll see what happens. I'm loving the comment here on Top Chat. As a former series admin, the phrase "Dear series admin, I have a great idea" still gives me the chills. There's just no. I need to take it to a poll, I think, but I don't think I'd win that either.
Well, of course, we do have winter series here at VMO where we do some interesting things. So who knows what may crop up?
Yes. I mean, they're doing the F1 game. Why can't we do it in touring cars, right? You know, it's bar backwards. Oh my.
Nordschleifer backwards. Hold on.
I can't even hold on going forwards, let alone backwards.
Oh dear. So we're just waiting for our warm-up to wrap up here, and we'll be getting ready for our third race. Phil, what a great couple races we've already seen with obviously the third to go this evening. We're already starting to get a few protagonists perhaps defining themselves, refining themselves for a campaign ahead, but some really great racing and fair and respectful racing as well so far.
Yeah, we've not had as, dare I say it, oh, this is going to be famous last words, commentator's curse, but I've kind of set myself up, so I'm going to say it. We've not had many incidents this evening, have we? There we go, ladies and gentlemen, so expect chaos in race 3. Yeah, obviously Butcher there was really unlucky with the clipping of the edge of the circuit there to then bounce back. I think Joe was even more unlucky to just have a face full of Ford Focus out of the S's. A face full of Ford Focus, that's a mouthful. Yeah, obviously this last race has already been red flagged. We've got a HEMS issue again, so it's sounding like we're going to have to waffle on a little bit more about some other crazy ideas. What's your crazy idea to spice up some racing, Chuggy?
Oh gosh, dare I say put water on the circuits? No, let's not go there. No, I mean I think there's something to be said for the Race of Champions concept, for example, putting drivers from different series in the same machinery, the same circuit. I know it's in a stadium environment, you can't do much, but perhaps not quite the same in the virtual world, but as a concept, that spec series, but getting drivers from different disciplines. I mean, I will quite happily take my hat off to any real world rally driver. The concentration and car control needed there is just unreal. So I'd love to see them in, say, some consistent sports car machinery and see what they could do against, say, someone who that's their bread and butter.
Yeah, I mean, you've got people that even change sports altogether. Obviously, so Chris Hoy is doing the Mustang Challenge, I think it's called, at the Mon. I think it's actually Friday is the race one he's doing. And then we've got our own, and I've forgotten his surname, but the guy that hosted Top Gear, Chris Harris. Chris Harris, thank you. We've got the other Chris, as he's called himself, during race 2, so Chris Hoy can't do both races. So yeah, there's got a few other celebrities doing that Mustang race, and I remember watching, I think it was 2008 Race of Champions at Wembley Stadium, and they had a bunch of celebrities, I mean I say celebrities, C-list celebrities, doing a bar 500 racing in the kind of Race of Champions. And I do remember, I want to say it was Lennox Lewis, boxer, going into a bar, which in itself looked hilarious, and then totally just went straight ahead at turn 1, just took out half the bollards. So, sometimes the transition into different sports can work, and sometimes it cannot.
Indeed. Well, until you try, you don't know. But no, I think motorsport particularly, I'll quite happily admit I'm a big sports car guy, is in such a good place right now. And I think you see that reflected into the virtual world as well. So having been doing this virtual stuff for longer than I care to admit, it's really fantastic to see not only the virtual world gain in popularity, but it's great to see the real world do the same, of course, and we get the best of both worlds. We get all sorts of fantastic series like this one, where you can come and enjoy your passion and get some great competition and great racing.
I'm loving the overlap. I mean, we're now at the age where we're looking at drivers that do sim racing and go into the real racing. My claim to fame, I've been on the circuit at the same time as virtual circuit, Rudy Van Buren and Luke Browning. I know you've raced various people in iRacing with your high iRating that us minions will never get to reach. My lousy 2K. But you've raced Jan Marlborough, if I remember correctly, I think.
Yeah, indeed. That was a bit of an interesting moment. Of course, had the Gran Turismo film around his story, which was quite surreal. But it is the brilliant thing about the virtual world, of course. You can race your heroes. Always quite surreal when you have Jake Dennis and Max Verstappen in the same server as you, and then promptly go half a second quicker and you go, fair enough, you enjoy your race. But still, it's a fantastic way to enjoy the hobby, enjoy the pastime, and certainly for myself, I took a lot more away having done the virtual world, just the technique, the fine detail, the body language of the cars. When you go and watch a race, be it on television or in the flesh, you just take so much more away from the incredible skills on show. And I would say the virtual world, some of these folks, they just do not make mistakes. They are so consistent, so good.
It is amazing to see lap after lap, especially even, like I said, the Nürburgring 24 that we had at the weekend. Just lap after lap, putting in 8-minute 12s or whatever it was, and it's just like, oh, that one was only half a second slower. And you're like, that's half a second slower over an 8-minute lap. It was absolutely crazy to see some of the teams, what they were doing. Some of the teams, not so interesting as what they're up to, but that's a different story, I suppose. But yeah, no, it's great that where real life motorsports is and where esports, I suppose we call this, or just virtual racing. And yeah, it's great to be part of.
Absolutely, they definitely both complement each other, lift each other up, and I think systems like the HEM system, as you say, the fact we have a league emulating a touring car championship here, it's fantastic. Another excellent way to enjoy the sport, engage in the sport, and obviously have a little bit of friendly competition. I don't know about you, Phil. I do this for fun, but it's always fun to have that competitive element as well.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I like I said, I did a few races last year, knowing full well that I'm never going to win here, and I'm going to be very lucky, even if I get top 10. But as we saw with a couple of races this evening so far, there's always someone to battle with, be it someone of your skill level or someone actually that's better than you, but they've had a mistake or an issue in the first lap or something. So there's always someone to race with, and it's great that we have leagues like this that we can kind of recreate official real racing and have some like-minded people to race with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if any of that sounds good, well, Virtual Motorsport Online, give it a search, look up our social medias on Instagram and such, and we have a Discord server. Feel free to come along. It's a wonderful community, friendly community, and like I say, have multiple series running. We've just wrapped up, and well, I believe, Phil, you took part in this, the recent World Rally series, which was good fun to kind of follow along and read some of the notebooks and stories coming off the back of that.
So I didn't actually, sadly, do some real life commitments. I didn't get to do the World Rally series this season. They did it on Richard Burns Rally, which there's I think it's Rally Sim fans. I'm getting that Sim Rally fans. They've got a website set up and something to talk about another time because we are doing the Formation Lap.
Yes, we are. I think we've got some of the gremlins back in their box, and we're taking our reconnaissance and formation lap for the final race of this evening, round 3 of TCUK 25. Phil, take us through that running order.
Yeah, okay, so on pole, Martha Allington, Salberg, like I said, that's 17th to 7th. Are they going to make it one more position in race 3? Thomas O'Leary in 3rd, Wilson the 1st of the soft runners, there we go, in 4th. Dan Kell in 5th. I'm going to run through the lot here, so it's Callum Cripps in 6th, Herlock in 7th, and Matt Richards in 8th, and obviously they haven't got much boost to use, so they'll have to be careful with Mitch Marie in 9th, because they'll have full boost. Scott Mitchell-Marm in 10th, Alan Smith in 11th, and the Brabham Fossetti Fraser Hart in 12th. Cedo Wire, also for Brabham Motorsport, in 13th. And then it's the first of the Unlimited Motorsport Esports Cupras of Alan Axon in 14th. Jordan Richardson in 15th, Vapor Shield Racing. Louis Neal in 16th. Archie Jardine in 17th for Jardine Motorsport. Tom Mould, another one, CRS X-Car Esports in 18th. Nathan Croak, 19th. Ben Willis in 20th. And then obviously the guys that had a bit unlucky at various moments. So Jack Nichols 21st. Jordan Osborne in 22nd. James Haskell in 23rd. Cam Brewster with that engine blow up in 24th. Joseph Herlock, no longer with a face full of Focus, in 25th. And the Focus itself, Chris Butcher, in 26th.
So as they're just making their way back onto the grid, we've got a real mixture. We've got a mixture at the front. We've got some fast cars at the back. And we've seen some fantastic racing. And as we've got everyone just getting those final moments to warm their tyres and prepare themselves for the start, everyone just gets that little moment of calm just to think their way through down to that first corner and how they're going to set up this third and final race of the evening.
Like see where Kelly's, he's setting himself up very differently to everyone else.
Looks like we've got everyone together. We wait for those starting lights. And another quick light, and away we go. Final time this evening. Looks like a fairly even start, but Martha is holding her own down towards turn 1 as we've got a Honda going wide into Redgate.
Oh, there's contact with the two at the front there, though. Are they going to keep it all going? Yes, they have, but Emil has just about... Nope, just all holding on. So, as you were, Kel's fighting Wilson, but it looks like top 4 are really fighting on. Who's this coming through in 5th? Wilson having a look as well. I think everyone is still going so far. I think Nathan Croak's had an issue, but otherwise we are, I think, all through okay.
Martha really having a lot to deal with here.
Oh, there's big crash at the back. We've got a couple off at the back there. Huskell and Mould, I think, are off in the barriers.
Oh dear, we'll have to see if we can get a replay of that. Leaders scrapping tooth and nail here on the first lap. We've got the King's Focus around the outside, and here comes the BMW up the inside. He smelt an opportunity and through he went. We've now got O'Leary well and truly applying the pressure to that lovely purple and pink Toyota as they run through and complete lap number 1.
Yeah, Martha would be hoping that, if you guys could all just fight each other for 16 laps, that would be great. Wilson's not made any progress yet on those soft tyres. And yeah, obviously the people behind Martha will have diminishing amounts of...
Oh no!
There's all 3 of them together. That's good news for Martha. But, and there's another one off at the back there as well, just for good measure. But everyone else still going. Mitch Marie, they're in 6th. I think this is great news for Martha. Quick, run away quickly.
Absolutely, just focus on what you're doing and let everyone else have a good scrap. So 3 into 1 normally doesn't go. It kind of did, and then it didn't again. So Martha, the beneficiary, she's now got a 1.3 second gap. Dan Kell now is in 2nd place.
Yeah, we're just getting a replay here of what happened with Fraser. So going into the old hairpin, no, it's a little bit wide. Sideways, and then just nowhere to go, and that was the end of that. I think there was another car actually involved, but that was those 2 outs. Richardson's been speared off from 11th place, falling down. Jordan Richardson falling down the order. I don't know what happened there out the exit of Coppice Corner, but that's it. Yeah, we've saved all the chaos for race 3, haven't we, Chuggy?
It seems so. I mean, race 3 does and will be like that sometimes, but I think Fraser there, just a little bit unlucky, a little bit of rear spin up on those rear wheels on the exit. Blocked those brakes down as soon as he could. The right thing to do, just unfortunately the pack right there. So unlucky for those drivers, but there'll be plenty more opportunity to get some good racing in.
Yeah, I'm just seeing what's happened. So that's I think Jordan Richardson's going to be our 3rd retirement from this race so far, although Fraser's currently going through the pit lane. It's not quite sure if they've changed tyres. As we see Ben Willis up in 14th having cars all over the place. Not quite sure that is the racetrack, guys. There's an interesting rejoin. They kind of all hold it together just about. As Willis down to 15th at the moment, but should get that place back with the inside line back up to 14th.
Indeed. Again, I'm going to have to dust off where's the rallycross circuit. Lots of interesting lines being taken out of the exit old hairpin that time around. As we rejoin this scrap here for 4th place, we have Salberg again, just biding his time. Looks like we have got the Astra making a move of Herlock. He's making hay while the sun shines, but Emil is not having any of it.
Yeah, this is basically, you say it's fight for 4th, it's basically the fight for 2nd. That's what Martha's hoping for, is there's a lot long lines slowly starting to form. Going too wide still through turn 1. Is everyone going to hold it together still? Hopefully so. Yes, they are. So, yeah, we lost a few at the start. We've still got 24 runners out of 26, even if Fraser is a lap down. That's going to go very wrong. That's going to take that one out. Yep, that was saw that one happening. That is Butcher, and I think it's James Haskell. No, I may be wrong there. Not James Haskell.
One of the Rocket Cupras there had a little bit of a lean, and these cars are so on edge. Just one slight even push, and they'll be like a feather. They'll just fall over on you. And unfortunately, that little touch skittled them all out of the way there at the old hairpin.
Yeah, Dan Kell's using boost to get ahead of Martha here. Going to take it into the S's. So I think Allington probably just saving their boost for a little bit later, and hopefully to try and hold on to the coattails of Dan Kell as he's going to try and run away with it. Yes, Allington's only used 1 lap out of 8, while Kell's obviously got 1 out of 4. Salberg will be the interesting one to watch. I think they're one to watch for the win later. So what happened to Butcher here? So we're going down curves. Looks okay so far. We're going to get a little tap. Just makes the car unsettled, and then yeah, he's trying his best to kind of lock it down. But I mean, yeah, if you're going to hit someone, hit some person that's kind of caused you to go sideways in the first place. So yeah, unfortunate there for Butcher. Is still going, but way out the points in 23rd.
Indeed, one of those things where two cars trying to occupy the same space, that will not work. So we proceed. We're on lap 5 of 16 here. Allington well and truly under pressure now from Saalberg. As Phil says, relatively even amount of boost, but we've got Allington on the boost, a little bit of defence as they run out of coppice towards the final chicane. And the yellow flag just popping up in sector 2, and now we have O'Leary making on Saalberg.
Yep, so it's actually, again, good news for Allington, but it's just it's a bit tactical now. When do you want to use your boost and how do you want to use it, and who's saving theirs and who isn't. I'm just watching Joseph Herlock and Ben Rillis fighting 15th and 16th. Like I said, fights up and down as we see, looking around the side here, just seeing anything going on for O'Leary and co. They're going to go side by side. No,
no.
That's a bit silly. That's going to come back on, and then
my goodness,
threaded the needle somehow. I mean, are they going to be able to be very careful with the rejoin here? Have they got damage? They probably have. That went okay. As rejoins go, that's okay. Down to 10th, but still going.
So, yet more applications for the Rallycross circuit on the run this time down into the old hairpin. But yeah, 2 and 2-1 does not go, and particularly at the Craner curves, you need to put some faith in that driver beside you. So, more rubbing. Not perhaps as fair racing. We will see what the stewards think of that one. But just point I wanted to make, all of that fighting there, the gap that Allington had from Saalberg, just that little bit of medley between Saalberg and O'Leary, there was a good 3-4 car length gap that Allington opened out just in the start-finish straight. So if this fighting continues, that might give that opportunity to maintain some places. Just focus on your race and focus on the road ahead of you.
Yeah, definitely. Just kind of, what are we? Lap 7 out of 16, as we're seeing a replay. What's this? This is Herlock. So, yeah, just kind of what we're seeing here. So he's got O'Leary in front and Marie. This is going to be O'Leary, so it's still there. And yeah, it's I don't really know where. I don't really know where O'Leary's meant to go.
Fantastic reactions from Herlock there, though.
It was saved them as well, kept them in the race.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, we could have had the old Constantina effect of 1 taking out 2, taking out 3, as we see Saalberg and Allington going toe-to-toe. That's going to push Saalberg a little bit wide. That's going to open the door to O'Leary and possibly a few others if they can't get back on the circuit quickly enough.
They open the barn door. Really, really unlucky there. Just running a little bit wide onto that curb. Not much grip. And look at, unfortunately, all of the momentum and places lost there. Trying to go forward 1, lost many.
Yeah, lost 3 or 4. I think lost 3 there, down to 6. So not as bad as it could be, but obviously, again, now surrounded by people that have lots of boost to use. And obviously, a pair of Kings racing in 7th and 8th.
Oh!
What was that? I missed that one.
Oh, no, we just had I think a moment there between one of the Drake Civics, just unfortunately being rotated around out of the exit, the final corner. I think I'm hearing it was Brewster, unfortunately. But a little gaggle of cars here, 5 deep, all scrapping for the same piece of road, running out the exit of Redgate, down through Hollywood, into the Craners. You can get 2 cars through here just about if you are working together, but old hairpin, much more difficult proposition.
Yeah, it looks like Cameron took a tighter line. Oh, we're going rallying again, Chucky. So it took a tighter line, the S's, and on the X it just got touched, and yeah, it's light as a touch, but at those speeds it just will send the car around like a record, baby.
Indeed. Kell continues to lead and has got a nice sensible gap, but just to call out, great drive being put together by Jack Nichols, up 11 places on that option soft tyre, currently running in 9th place, although having a little bit of a scrap, it would appear, with Mitch Marie. So a good run being put together there for the Kings driver.
Yeah, I'm wondering if obviously, we've got Nichols has got his teammates in Mitchell and Saalberg up ahead. Wondering if they could use them to help Nichols make his way further, make up some more places as we're on board now. Mitch Marie's got the inside line and should have that over. Who's that? That is over Nichols. So that idea won't have to wait for now. Again, that's going to come on sideways.
No! Oh no!
That actually has saved them. I think that car was going to go sideways across the circuit and off to Narnia, and I think Nichols has managed to point it back in the right direction.
So the groundskeeper is going to be devastated. All of the turf he's going to have to redo here, but our TC are clearly have no interest in the amount of seed and sod that needs to be put down after this one's done.
Yeah, we obviously got Allington now down to third, and Richards now looking for a second podium. You know, started eighth, up to fourth, and sniffs another podium as Cripps and Herlock also. So this is another car off in the background there. Who's that? That looks like a Brabham of Callum Wilson. So have a quick look at that coming into the S's, and Mitch Murray looking down the inside and under braking and then just spun them around. So yeah, a bit unlucky there.
It's all getting a bit feisty and energetic in this our third and final race of the evening. It does sometimes happen a few weeks before our next round, but we'll get to that once this race is over and done. Herlock, as mentioned, making some good progress up from his starting position. Just in this little battle pack here from Allington all the way down to, I believe, Mitchell Marm in 7th place. So good little battle here for the final podium position. Here we've got Richards having a little bit of look at the back of Allington. Can he engineer a move? Allington just holding the middle of the road, going across, blocking any opportunity to pass on the inside there as they now fan back out into the braking zone, over the rise, down into the final chicane. And a little bit of sideways moment there from Richards. Did he perhaps get a little tap from the Civic behind? A little flash of the lights. Looks like there may be a little bit of, excuse me, sir, I'd quite like to come through here.
Yes, Richards has only got 1 lap of boost, whereas now I think Allington can use it now for the remaining 5 laps. So that's going to really help Allington's case to hopefully run away down the road and hold on to that final podium spot. And I think a few of these guys are now kind of thinking, right, 5 laps to go. I've got this many laps of boost left. I can probably start opening the taps out. Yeah, quite a few there, but Richards has to be one to be careful, as O'Leary's using a little bit to kind of try and catch up with Dan Kell, and the gap at the front is still under a second, so still a hope there for Mr. O'Leary to get a race win.
Dan, obviously a veteran of this league, this championship. He has a fantastic way of putting races together. He's had quiet but successful races so far this evening, and he's going about doing that again. But O'Leary definitely wanting to try and make his life a little more difficult. Richards now up the inside of Allington as they run down the back straight towards the final corner. Looks like Richards using a little bit of his overspeed there, getting that pass done. Can he get the clean exit to hold on to that place down towards Redgate, the first corner? It looks like he has. Third place.
He has, and he's used his 1 lap of boost. So Allington's got, like I said, 5 laps to go from now, and Allington's got 4 laps of boost left to use. So that's definitely not. Allington's lost another spot though to Cripps. It looks like Cripps has dived down the inside and got. Oh no, they're still fighting. It's blimey, Jack Nichols and this Honda are also fighting, and that's got to be very careful. Don't understeer through here, guys. Yeah, they've just about held it all together.
It's all getting a bit feisty. 12 laps in the books, just a few more to go to round out this evening's action. Everyone leaving everything out there on the circuit today. So running up towards McLean's for another time. And here's O'Leary. My goodness, he is right with Kell now.
Yeah, he's obviously got an extra lap of boost to use, and also got the thought it's about to take him out. Oh, and a little bit of lag there. Sorry about that, but yep, just about holds it. He's going to look down the inside. Now I think better for now. Again, after this lap, I think they're good to use. You kind of use it every other lap now, as we see Scott Mitchell Marm and Callum Cripps fighting over 5th and 6th.
Herlock just keeping a bit of a watching brief there, ready to pick up any pieces if there were to be any. But some good, respectful racing here between Mitchell Marm and Cripps. No opportunity to get past the Honda Civic into Redgate this time, but through they run down towards the old hairpin and the end of Sector 1.
Yeah, I'm just seeing where those close battles are. And obviously, yeah, we know first and second is, and then we've got Matt Richards now ahead. Obviously, we know Matt Richards actually ahead of Martha. We see Martha can use that boost. Good news for them is that Cripps has used theirs up as well. So 4 laps to go, and hopefully some opportunities to get that last podium place back for Martha, as we're watching Mitchell, Marm and Cripps. Again, Mitchell Marm with the boost. Cripps hasn't got it. He's got to look at the inside of Coppice. Job done.
Job done. That is the boost system in a nutshell. Used tactically and expended early, you are a bit of a sitting duck. So position game there for Mitchell Marm in the King's Machine.
Yeah, great. They're having a great race, the team. They've got, at the moment, 5th, 7th and 10th. So 3 guys in the top 10. Hopefully I don't commentators curse that one, as we've got just 3 laps to go. And yeah, Allington, trying to keep up there with Richards, and Scott Mitchell now ahead of Cripps as well. So those two are going to be close come the end. Hopefully work together to, try and fight out for podium at the end, as we see O'Leary really putting the pressure on now on Dan Kell.
Absolutely, and fights going on up and down the field here.
Oh,
We've got...
no,
no! Oh, blimey, the front-wheel drive really coming in clutch there, saving both of these drivers. And we've got a move now for the lead. Round the outside, can he make that stick? Oh, they're leaning on each other out of the exit of McLean's. Up the hill they go towards Coppice. Is Kell going to come back on the brakes? He tries, but he can't get there. Has that got the move done for O'Leary? Yes, he has taken the lead.
Yep, and that's a nice little use of boost there just to pull the gap away, give himself a little bit of breathing room. As they come around, there'll be 2 laps to go. As we see Herlock down here in 12th, and looking like he's trying to pick up some pieces, but he's lapping slow apparently. So has he got a problem? Have we got a suspension issue, or can't see anything wrong with the car?
Possibly some damage, possibly some tyre wear, but I was actually going to call out Joe Herlock from the back, and there he is in 13th place. Another great run being put together there for the RSL driver.
Yeah, 12th and 13th running astern. I'm looking at 9th and 10th for doing a bit argy-bargy as well, just up ahead. So there's still opportunity for them to get a few extra points. O'Leary pulled a second already out of Dan Kell. So yeah, really kind of legging it out there for the win with just 2 laps to go. Allington just about holding on to Matt Richards, 4/10 of a second, and obviously has 2 more laps of that boost. So could still get a podium if they kind of play their cards right. And yeah, looking really good for Kings at the moment. Famous last words again.
So the commentator's curse is strong this evening, but it's still very close. Got O'Leary and Kell. They've definitely asserted their authority on this final race, but very close throughout the field everywhere else. Fastest lap so far set by Joe Herlock in 13th place, as we've got Nichols having to keep a very close eye on the 2 Brabham Honda Civics just behind. And oh no! Contact there, I think, for one of the Kings cars at the back.
Yep, Salberg is definitely commentator's curse. I'm so sorry. So what's happened here? So on the outside of the S's, and then then tries the inside, and you're very lucky actually didn't get hit by any of the cars actually. So still in the points. No, they're not, now down 16th. So can't even save myself that one.
So we'll have to definitely put the commentator's curse coins in the jar for this week. Yeah. But we've got Allington still harrying the back of Richards. Mitchell Marm getting involved there. Now we've got Nichols and one of the Brabhams here getting close. I think that's Wire. Closely followed by his teammate Cripps. They are well and truly duking it out for 7th, 6th, and I believe that'll be 8th by logic. So
O'Leary's just coming around the last corner.
Battling it out, but here's O'Leary. What a run. Timed it well, used his boost well, and wins round 3 of TCUK 2025. Wonderful drive for the Richards & Co racing driver. It
was brilliant race there. Is Allington going to hold on to 4th? Was Mitchell going to get it at the line? It's going to be close. Oh, I think Mitchell just got onto 4th there. I saw Martha cutting the chicane a little bit at the end there, but Mitchell had the Mitchell Marm had the boost just at the end there to hit by, I think it was like 500ths of a second. So it was close there. And Joe obviously also getting the best of his brother, I think, because I can't see where Dan Herlock's there up in 8th. Forgive me. But
something must have just happened there, because Dan definitely went up the order there, but we'll have to have a bit of a look after the race here. But an action-packed 3rd race there. A few more spills, a few more thrills, and definitely a visit to the local DIY shop for the groundskeeper. But there you go, that's TCUK. You're never quite sure what's going to happen next.
Yeah, it was like I said, we didn't have much action. Well, we had enough action in races 1 and 2, and then way too much action in race 3 to kind of keep an eye on what was going up and down the grid. But it was fantastic evening of racing. Podiums were a few. I think Martha was a little bit unlucky there, not to quite get the hold onto the 4th or push for 3rd. But can still hold their head high, fighting with these really strong drivers. So it sets ourselves nicely up for the season.
Absolutely. So let's just run through our third race of the evening, the final race of the evening, the final finishing order. So Thomas O'Leary wins from Dan Kell, Matt Richards rounding out the top three. Scott Mitchell-Malms for Kings came home in fourth, with Martha Allington a very strong fifth place from the front row of the grid. Studio Weir for Brabham came home sixth, with his teammate Callum Cripps coming home in seventh. Dan Hurlock, good strong start to the championship for him. He came home in eighth in the final race, with Jack Nichols in ninth. And Alan Smith for Craven Racing, fantastic work, finishing in the top 10.
Yeah, great there. We've also got quite a few. I think it was top four with four different cars there. So Alan Axon, car number 11, finished 11th. Joseph Hurlock, 12th. Nice little evening end. Willis in 13th for some points. Mitch Murray, 14th. Callum Wilson getting the final single point. And yes, apologies, commentators' apologies to Emil Salberg there, finishing 16th, sadly out of the points. Chris Butcher recovered to 17th. Cameron Brewster 18th. Jordan Osborne in 19th, and it was Nathan Croak in 20th.
Then just to round out our runners and riders for this evening, we had Archie Jardine finishing in 21st, Fraser Hart in 22nd, with Louis Neal following home in 23rd. Our first non-finisher with Haskell, Richardson and Mould also not completing that third and final race.
Yeah, what a great evening of racing. If this is what the season's going to be like for entertainment, sign me up. The boost system, we had some few technical issues there, but the boost system, when it played out beautifully. Hopefully viewers could work out what was going on. I found it really entertaining to understand like who was using it, when they were using it, how much they got left. I think it was fantastic.
Absolutely. It certainly gave that little bit of extra tactical spice and nuance to the drivers. Gave us some great racing, and certainly opened up some opportunities for some overtakes there that might not have happened otherwise. So lovely, good, strong first evening of racing there. And as you mentioned, Phil, this is just the first three races of a 30-strong race calendar that we've got. 3 weeks' time, we'll be visiting the wonderful Brands Hatch and the Indy circuit for 24 laps. That on the 2nd of July. So a few weeks to wait, but plenty of good action to be had at what is really a very tricky circuit to get right. If Donington punishes mistakes, Brands, you get even more punishment. One slight wrong move, you well and truly go backwards in the field.
You definitely do. I still remember from my pre-season practice, I forgot that we were doing Brands Hatch GP and tried doing the Indy circuit during Brands Hatch GP. Don't recommend that one. Yeah, obviously the Indy circuit being a shorter length, it usually means more chaos. It also makes it really difficult to use that boost, because you've got to be kind of ploughing out those corners at decent speed to be able to activate it, and you haven't got long to activate it before you've then got to use it brake for the next corner. So it's another technical challenge, tactical challenge of when to use it, and yeah, really looking forward to it in a few weeks' time.
And it's constant as well. It's a short circuit, corners most of the lap. You've definitely got to be alert and awake and take care of those tyres. So, like I say, 3 weeks' time, we'll be racing at Brands Hatch, and we'll have a full complement of cars ready to take on the challenge.
I suppose we might as well start wrapping it up here. I mean, yeah, I could just say thank you for everyone joining us tonight, and I've really enjoyed watching it and commentating it. And yeah, I suppose thank you to Tom, our cameraman, for calling the shots and shouting at me when I'm getting things wrong, which you'll be surprised is quite a lot. He's not a big fan of my reverse racing, so sadly that won't be going forward anytime soon. But you know, there's always hope.
So no idea is bad necessarily. It's just how it gets executed, right? So, yeah, it's been a good start to the season for certain. Lots of very close racing, some great respect being shown out in places, and we'll hope for definitely more of the same. So, as Phil mentioned, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed the racing and the broadcast, and we very much look forward to seeing you in 3 weeks' time for round 2 at Brands Hatch.